Good morning, beautiful people. It is Feel Good Friday, August 14th, 2020. Woo! Big things happening in the sports world yesterday. About 2 hours after I proclaimed that there's no way Travis Kelce will be able to remain with the Kansas City Chiefs because they do not have enough salary cap. They do not have enough cash. There's no way they'll be able to keep Travis Kelce around, especially with what George Kittle did yesterday, signing a 5-year, $75 million deal with the San Francisco 49ers. It turns out that the Kansas City Chiefs lock in Travis Kelce for at least another 4 years, valued at $57.25 million and $28 million guaranteed. Whenever that tweet was put out, it was a little bit before all the final details came out. Now, he is averaging $14.25 million a year, I believe. George Kittle is averaging $15 million a year. Travis Kelce now is on his third contract with the Kansas City Chiefs, okay? His previous contract was worth $46 million. Oof. So Travis Kelce is officially over $100 million in contracts and salaries with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's a Super Bowl champion, and he just signs now to stay with Patrick Mahomes, stay with Andy Reid, stay with Tyreek Hill, stay with that entire team. And are they going to build a dynasty for the next 5-10 years in the AFC? Or will they be a team that somehow, some way falls apart because all of these contracts cannot match up? We saw it with the Rams. Okay, we're watching it currently with the Cowboys. I don't know how they're going to end up doing it. But as this salary cap, especially with the big question mark for next year, what the salary cap is going to be. Now, it can't move a certain amount because the NFL and the NFLPA negotiated that, and they're going to have the money kind of change over a long period of time. But I don't know how Andy Reid and Veach are doing this. Nobody knows. I guess this is going to be the same type of setup as Patrick Mahomes, where some of the money is either going to be deferred till later or whatever. But if they figure this out, how to pay all these people, and it's like a little bit longer deals with Patrick Mahomes, your big, and then something like that, this is going to be the new blueprint for every other NFL team to run how they're going to do it. Now, granted, there will always be teams that say we build from within and we rip people off. The Patriots did it for the last 20 years, and they continued to win because Tom Brady continued to take pay cuts, and now Tom Brady and Joe Montana alleged to have a conversation. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But this is incredible what the Chiefs have been able to do, keeping these players around. I don't know how they've done it, but I do know it's a problem for everybody. If they can keep that core together for another 4 years? Patrick Mahomes just said on that barbershop show with LeBron that he just learned how to read a defense in the middle of last season. So, I mean, it's just like, how far can they go? And I had no idea that Travis Kelce is like 32 years old. I didn't know. I thought he was younger. I thought he was a lot younger. I thought for some reason, I have no idea why. He plays young. He acts young. He's 32, he could play for another 4. 36 is going to be tough, I think, at tight end. But with that offense, they'll be able to figure it out. And good for him, good for the Chiefs, good for Andy Reid, and good for Chiefs Kingdom. You know, out there in Kansas City. Sure. I mean, good for them. But this is going to be tough for the AFC. The Colts got Phillip Rivers trying to search for a Super Bowl. He's only here for 2 years, I guess. Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, they're all there for at least 2 years. At least 2 years. No big deal. Hey, I ain't scared. Colts beat the Chiefs last year.
Hell yeah.
And now the Patriots, right? They got Cam Newton. Bill Belichick's got a lot to prove. What if Patrick Mahomes becomes the roadblock for him proving that he didn't need Tom Brady? Then you think about Lamar Jackson over there in Baltimore. That guy just won an MVP just like Patrick Mahomes did 2 years ago. Is he going to go on a run? Seems like that Chiefs hurdle is only growing bigger and taller as the days go by. You would think, well, they're not going to be able to do it because they won't be able to pay everybody. Because they say whenever you win, there's enough to go around. And they don't mean within your organization. They mean just in the NFL. There's enough money to go around whenever you win. And I thought since Travis Kelce won a Super Bowl, I said this yesterday, he would definitely, you already got a ring? Hey, already got a ring. I've done what you have to do here. I will go take a lot of money somewhere else. And somehow he takes a lot of money with the Kansas City Chiefs somehow. They got to be potentially cooking books over there.
Yes.
I don't know where the money is coming from. I have no idea what they're going to do. They got rid of Colquitt now. The punter was a casualty to this magician wizardry that they've been doing with the salary cap. But this is amazing to watch. At Nick Moraldo's here. At Boston Connor's here. Ty Schmidt is here. Jason McAfee's here. Viva Lazito's here. Evan Foxy is here. Emmett McMahon is on the phones. 1-833-622-3331 is the number if you want to get on. Maybe we'll take some calls actually today. Feel Good Friday.
Yeah.
Listen,
Feel Good Friday.
and sitting on the couch once again, Mr. Mitch Sansuri.
Oh, I think I like the ring of Mitch Sansuri better. We went through a couple iterations while we were in Florida, but Mitch Sansuri's got a great ring.
Now, Mike Mansuri is a great name.
I like Vinny too.
What's that?
Vinny as well.
Vinny Sansuri.
Yeah.
Vinny Sansuri.
Oh, football player.
It
there.
sounds like a bad wrestling name from the 80s.
Well, it also is a very Italian name, and I'll tell you what, too many Italians normally around.
A lot of Vinnies.
Yeah, they'll probably come after us if we had to guess. Vinny, Anthony,
Michael,
Michael,
Tommy.
Giovanni.
Maybe
the best names though.
Lorenzo.
There's not a lot of opportunity. There's not a lot of option. Lorenzo. Is that an Italian name?
Very Italian. Oh, yeah.
Really?
It's the most Italian name I know.
How come we didn't have any Lorenzos in Pittsburgh?
What's up, Zoe?
What's that all about?
I don't know, but you got me on Vinny Sansuri. I was interested to see what he was up to. He's actually an assistant coach with New England.
What?
Hey, big win!
We did that on purpose to talk about New England. Big news coming out of Joe Montana's interview yesterday. I believe he talked to, I have no idea who he had a conversation with. He did an interview with somebody. Joe Montana's doing interviews, which means we should try to get Joe Montana on this show here. Mm-hmm. Joe Montana of the Jake Asman show down there in Houston. He came out and said, I spoke to Tom while we were back at the Super Bowl. You know, me and Tom. He's a big fan of mine, obviously. I signed Skechers for him and all that stuff. Montana said this week on the Jake Asman show in Houston, I don't think he was happy with the way things were progressing there in New England, he's meaning, and his ability to have input. And I think that was a big decision for him to make to leave there. I think that was one of his beefs up there, Montana said. I think of him and those Skechers, whatever, or those
the shape-ups.
The shape-ups or what, yeah, those shape-ups or whatever. Just saying, I think that was one of his beefs up there. Like listening to Joe Montana or thinking of him saying that is kind of hilarious to think about. He told me that they'd ask my advice, I would tell them, and then they don't take it. Oh.
Sorry.
I think he would take a little bit of the input, and I think they'll probably let him have that in Tampa. I think he would like a little bit of the input. I think they'll have that in Tampa, especially with the success that he's had. Okay, so as we thought, the Tom Brady not getting a chance to speak his mind or have any input on anything, even though he is widely regarded by anybody with a brain to be the greatest quarterback of all time. 6 Super Bowl wins. Tom Brady's been there, done that. I'm on the field. I see these things. I know Ernie's up in the sky. I know you guys are on the sideline. I know you watch film, a lot of film. Everybody talks about the Patriot way. You watch more film than everybody. But I'm just saying, I think we should maybe do this. I think we should maybe do this. Then he goes and golfs with Peyton Manning, and his friendship with Peyton Manning grows. And he goes, Peyton, how did you tell, your front office or your coach if you wanted to play? And Peyton, well, damn, I'd walk in there and say, this is the guy I want. Get him the hell out of here this way. And they would do it. And Tom was like, what? And then Jim Nantz was like, did you guys just hit a golf ball off my back? And they're having this entire conversation. And then all of a sudden, Tom's like, well, wait a damn minute. It would be nice 20 years into this thing, 6 Super Bowls deep, with everything I've done in this league, to maybe have a little bit of say in something. I mean, that's what a lot of other quarterbacks get to do. How come I don't get to do that? So he goes into Bill Belichick and says, here's the deal, Bill. I've taken pay cuts for you. We've won Super Bowls together. I would like to be able to maybe speak my mind a little bit. And Bill goes, well, you don't do that. You're going to have to get the hell out of here. And then everybody's like, all right, sounds good. We got 1 season left here. He's going to get the hell out of here. And if you're Bill Belichick, I guess you have to respect it as well. Because Tom goes in there and he says, hey, I've won 6 Super Bowls. I'm the winningest quarterback of all time. I'm highly regarded as the greatest quarterback of all time. I'd like a little bit of say. And Bill goes, why'd you win all the Super Bowls? Because we don't listen to anything you were saying the entire time. Yeah. So now you want us to change? No, you want us to. By the way, this brain, Ernie's brain, you seen Ernie? Mm-hmm. Ernie knows everybody's signal, not because we film him, because Ernie is a Rain Man-like memory. And that's why we make the decisions here, and that's why you won. And Tom's like, well, the hell with it. I'm getting out of here. Then he goes down to Bruce Arians, highly regarded as cool coach. Cool coach. Everybody loves Bruce Arians. Now, Tom's going to get a chance to say some things. Tom's going to get a chance to maybe pick who he's throwing the balls to. And that's what, by the way, Bruce Arians told us that. He said, here's the top 2 wide receivers, okay? And then the next 7 that we have, you can pick whoever you want to throw the ball to, but you're going to like all of them. You're going to like every single one of them. And that is all Tom wanted. Tom wanted to be empowered. Tom wanted to be at a point in his life where maybe his opinion matters. This isn't college football anymore. This is Tom Brady. And Bill Belichick says, I don't give a single damn. Get your ass down to Tampa if that's what you want to do. So him, Bill Gates, and that Tampa Bay Lightning guy met up, and they said, how are we going to tell Bruce Arians that we're making decisions around here? That's what they did.
I mean, hold on. We go to 9 Super Bowls in 20 years, so it makes sense we should change how we operate inside the organization after 20 years. But how things were progressing, it's like, Tom, look, I understand, but you're turning 43. We already lost a franchise quarterback because we held on to you. Won a couple more Super Bowls. I'm not upset about it. But, like, you got to think for the future. Bill is only thinking about the football team. The most quarterbacks that have ever been free agents in an offseason that we can remember, at least. So, yeah, we were looking around. Cam Newton was available. Sorry, Tom. Get out of town.
Cam Newton wasn't available when he told Tom to get out of town. Like, every day you speak and you say just dumb things.
Well, we knew
Phenomenal
he was going to be.
timeline. Phenomenal timeline.
You think Bill didn't know? Bill knows before everybody else what's going to happen in the NFL. He probably already knew that Brady was coming. Joe Brady was going into Carolina, and they were going to pull Teddy Bridgewater.
Probably. I mean, there is a chance that he could have guessed that Cam Newton was going to be on the block or on the market. Because we talked to old Beanie, Bill Bean, Brandon Bean. Brandon Bean, Buffalo Bills. And we said, because he said that they're always searching for trades and players. If you look around the league and you see somebody is upset or a bad situation, you're going to call and say, hey, is there any interest? So maybe Bill was like, well, Cam Newton's going to be on the. And that's why also Bill knew 86 days, nobody's going to sign this guy. I'll be able to sign him for $1 million. You're 100% right.
Ernie, too. I mean, Bill maybe, but Ernie's the one that's, he has feeders in probably every single system. So he probably knew Cam was unhappy.
Tom, you could see why Tom would be pissed. It's like, I'm a grown-ass man.
For sure.
Yeah, I would really like for somebody to just appreciate my brain in this building. If I go speak anywhere else, they'll be like, oh, this is God send. This is what this guy wants. Then I show up at work and I can't even pick the guys that I get to throw the ball. I need you to be more explosive. That's why he said on his faster,
quicker,
catch better, better looking. I need everything from those on the sideline. And it's because he probably had other guys he liked. And guess who ran him out of town? Bill Belichick.
And themselves. But talking to Peyton, too. I mean, Peyton had complete control, and then Brady hears all that stuff, and it's like, oh, I haven't even gotten a sniff of that.
Well, he's not just talking to Peyton, by the way. I would assume Joe Montana's opinion mattered.
Yeah.
I would assume in a lot of places that the quarterback who has won a bunch of Super Bowls or
fan of the Niners growing up.
Yeah, that was his hero.
Yeah.
I would assume that a lot of quarterbacks that Tom talked to, there's a lot of, what? And then next conversation. Really? And then next conversation. No, what? The whole building you were able to run? I bet you that's how it went. And it just got to a point where it's like, all right, I'm done with this. I am completely over it.
Do you think that's really all he was looking for, is just to say what receivers are going to be out there? Because didn't he initially say, I don't want roster control. I just want to say in what we're doing on the offensive side.
So that would be respect, right? So ultimately what he wants is respect. And that's what it all revolves around. So if you give your opinion and it's completely like, yep. You know what I mean? Sounds good. Later. That means there's no respect for maybe your play. There's respect for your play, but your brain, there's no respect for it, right? And that's how you could take it if you frame that in your mind. And you could see how he could potentially get very upset about that. But also, I mean, it would be very difficult if I'm Bill Belichick, and this goes back to what I said about the ESPN execs who make the same mistakes at this point that they've always made, it seems like. They've had a lot of success doing this for a long, long time. They're in the position that they're in because they've made these decisions for this long. And even though the world is changing very fast right in front of their eyes, they're going to go down with the ship like the Titanic. It's just, when does the band play? Shout out to the NCAA's doctor guy. It was just just out there like I didn't even know that guy existed or girl existed until they said, this whole Titanic's going down. We're just waiting for the band to go down with the ship. But that whole thing that was Bill Belichick. He's made all these decisions for so long. They've had so much success. You could see how Bill would be like, well, we're not. I got my dog doing the draft. I guess that is a little bit different, but there is nothing changing about the entire football operation.
Well, and Peyton Manning, Montana, these guys who did have control, did any of them have a coach that was on the level of Bill Belichick that was that caliber?
Well, that's always the debate, right? The debate is always like, well, if Peyton had Bill Belichick, and then I was always like, if Peyton had a Bill Belichick type brain in the building and Ernie Adams up there in the Skycam, I'd be very intrigued to see how they would go. But would Bill Belichick and Peyton Manning get along? That is a trait that you have to have as well, that Tom Brady has, that I don't think a lot of starting quarterbacks would be able to have with Bill Belichick. And I think it's because he was picked 2 What was his pick?
He was
199 or something. He was picked 199 because he had that chip on his shoulder and kind of a late draft pick. I don't know if there's a lot of superstar quarterbacks that'd be able to go into Bill Belichick and handle it, but we will find out with Cam Newton right now.
Chip on his
14 minutes after the hour, we have to get to a break for the radio. We will do a little YouTube question during the break, I do believe. YouTube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. Get in the comment section if you would like to potentially chat with us. Connor, a lot of people are probably wondering to themselves, what the hell are you wearing right now?
What do you mean? I got a great shirt on. I got these sunglasses at a 7-Eleven in Ohio, and I feel great about them.
Oh, really? Over there in Ohio?
Yeah,
You've been spending a lot of time in Ohio.
I got like 4 or 5. Yeah, they have great sunglasses in their gas station, so I always drive up there, grab a couple, and then come back.
Yeah. You look good.
You look good.
You know, I feel good.
Yeah?
I'm in the middle of quite a keto run right now.
Ooh.
For the big fight, coming up here.
Fight week, baby.
8 days from now. Almost fight week.
Almost.
One more day. We're
Fight week eve.
Fight week eve here. Yeah. I would like to get a little bit more vascularity in that guy. So that
This is cut week now.
So inevitably, here we go.
We're gonna shred down. Time.
Inevitably, whenever I flex at some point, I would like
Get
that
the
photo.
veins popping out.
I would like that photo to potentially live forever. This is the best shape I've ever been in my entire life. I am going to get a lot of messages from former teammates, friends, people that have seen me in the past. That's just going to be like, what the hell have you done to your body? Because I used to be the most comfortable looking guy up top, just very comfortable. We got business on the bottom, party on the top, whenever it came to the body. I've been putting in work. I am ready. 8 days. 8 days down there in Orlando.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right, we're back on the other side of the radio. We'll see you at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. This is The Pat McAfee Show. All right, here. Oh, we're clear now. Jeez. Sorry about that, Dawn. The fucking radio, I never know.
It has mind of its own.
Hey, sometimes we got like a 2-second delay. Sometimes we got a 40-second delay. Minute, have we answered any of these phone calls?
You just said no.
Yeah. Appreciate that. That's really good work.
You're supposed to pick up the phone, bro.
Yeah.
I thought you just let it ring.
All right, let's do a segment that we do every once. I see them blinking over here.
Man, pick up the goddamn phone, Mitt.
The screen is just blinking. Every once in a while, I like to dive into the least toxic place on the internet, the YouTube comments section, for some YouTube questions.
YouTube question.
Attaboy, Zito. That was good delivery there by you.
I'm back, baby.
What do we got
go,
in the comments,
Z?
Z?
I didn't know who sent it, but if you were to be traded,
You have to see that is one massive part.
well,
of
it just kept moving, and then I didn't take a photo of it how I usually do it, and now
Yeah.
it is lost forever.
Yeah, it's gone. But you gotta I feel like you have to.
But usually when I say it, they go, "Oh, that was me," and then I say in the chat, "Thank you so much."
So now 50 people are about to say that was me.
and then someone's gonna get the credit.
Not a bad move. So this one came from Michael Alvis. That was just a name that just
Okay.
popped up.
Yeah, Michael Elvis.
How about Elvis?
If you were traded when you're in the league, what team would you have wanted to play for?
Traded?
Yeah.
Oh, who was going to win the Super Bowl that year?
New England.
Patriots in a heartbeat?
During my
England.
career, I guess that is. But I was a righty, and at that time, Bill Belichick was only doing lefty punters at that, so I had no chance at all. But now they have a righty because, you know why? Because now it's become very normal to have a lefty.
Yes.
So back then, there was only righties, and the ball would turn over from the returners right to left. So a righty, just like a slice in a golf, it goes this way if you turn the ball over. But those lefties came in, and this was a big advantage for the Patriots for a long, long time. Super football genius stuff. The ball would turn over, you see, the other way.
Oh.
Everybody's acting like that was such a big fucking deal. It made no sense to me. We're talking about the greatest athletes on earth back there, and the ball, they can't see the ball turn over the other direction. Are we fucking kidding right now? They would even bring in, whenever you're playing against a lefty punter, on Fridays, they would bring in a lefty punter to punt to the returners. Okay, so it was like if you knew on Friday if we're playing a lefty punter, there was somebody coming in the building, and every single time the reporters would be like, "Oh, they brought in a new punter here. Is Pat McAfee in trouble?" It's like, you dumb motherfuckers. I cannot handle. I just thought that was something that Bill Belichick got a lot of credit for being a genius. That ultimately, I mean, did not matter. I mean, I don't think it ever mattered. But there are some lefties that pound the ball, and there are some righties that pound the ball. But that ball turning over the opposite direction, could be a real problem. But the reason why I did it is because they had to bring in another punter on Friday to train. It's just one more thing you have to do if you're playing against the Patriots. But really, do you? I don't know.
I feel like no.
I feel like,
especially if they went back now.
Shout out Matthew Keller.
Matt, that was the guy?
Yeah, I found it.
Oh, you scrolled back?
Yeah,
I thought he
scrolled all
potentially
the way back.
hustled
Attaboy,
you.
Matty.
Way to go, Matt.
I think that is where I would have wanted to go, though, if you're going to win a Super Bowl. But, boy, everybody here would have hated me.
2016
Packers
last
maybe.
year.
Steelers. Well, you got traded, though. It wouldn't have mattered. Like, it's not your fault. Take that.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Big talk to the break show. Big talk to the break show. We got 10 minutes until Ariel Helwani joins us. Massive fights coming up tomorrow. UFC 252. Bingo. I'm going on Dana White's IG Live this afternoon. The last time I was supposed to go on IG Live with somebody, though, my internet connection was so poor I could not connect. So hopefully that does not happen with Mr. White, because I'm a massive fan, obviously. And our guy, I'm in an intriguing spot about this weekend. Okay, Cormier came on the show. Mm-hmm. Stipe and I crowd surfed together.
Oh, no.
So I partied with one guy, talked to the other guy. Who do I go with? That's normally how I make my decisions, who I like more. I'll have to, I guess we'll have to find out. I'll ask Ariel who he thinks. I would always pick the person that is going into their last potential fight ever over somebody who isn't every single day of the week. Because the reasoning is, if it's the last game of the season, for me, it's like, okay, this is definitely the last game of the season. Like bowls, for instance. We went 4-0 in bowls, and we always played in bowls. And then at college, and then my rookie year, we went undefeated until we only went to the Super Bowl. So, like, you never know when the last game is going to be. But I always wanted to have a good game in the last game because that's what I'm going to think about for the next, 4 months. That's how I'm going to be judged by everybody for the last 4 months, because we live in a what have you done for me lately society. Now, granted, whenever you retire, normally they look at your entire work of art or whatever. But Daniel Cormier mentally for the rest of his life is going to remember how he did in this particular fight. And I just feel like that person is a little bit more likely to win than the other person who isn't saying it's their last one, because it might not be whatever for Steve. So I think that's why I'm leaning towards Cormier. But when they did that stare down yesterday, I had no idea Stipe looks down like that at Cormier.
Huge. He's a big boy.
He
Stipe
is a massive man. How did he crowd surf? That's almost more impressive now.
How did people hold him up?
That's what I'm saying. Because I went, and then he said, "Well, hell, I'll go." And he jumped. And I wonder if those people were like, "Whoa, we agreed to that. We didn't agree to this." What a good dude. That's going to be a great fight. And then Sugar Sean's also fighting, which I'm pumped up about. And those fights will be talked about with Ariel Helwani here in 7.5 minutes. That's, big fight show.
Big fight.
Big fight show.
Cormier's taking him down. To the ground. I don't know if he's going to win, but he's taking him down to the ground.
I think he's going to win. I just honestly believe that he is going to win. Your retirement fight, you remember this forever. I think he's going to win. But let's also make sure that we do know that I don't know much that I'm talking about whenever it comes to that whole world.
What about the thought on the other end, though? Like if Stipe loses and then he'll never be able to beat Cormier to get the belt. You know what I mean? Like if he loses, he'll never have the opportunity to beat him and get the belt back.
Because this is the third of a trilogy, correct?
Yeah.
And
Rubber match.
They're 1-1 right now.
Yeah.
So that is a very interesting thought. But what would they do? They go to a fourth fight, a fifth fight? How many times is somebody fighting? Do people fight 4 or 5 times in UFC?
Not very, very rarely. I mean, Cormier and John Jones, they had 2 fights.
They were awesome back then.
You know what I mean?
3 is probably the most.
3's probably the most.
This is it for Stipe too. Then
Yeah.
Is he going to retire? No,
I don't think so.
way.
no. He is an animal.
He looks
Yeah.
I tell you what, man.
big.
The guy's just a great human being too.
Stipe.
Right? He spends the whole beginning of the pandemic. He's a first responder, firefighter back in Cleveland.
The guy's a firefighter.
He puts training on hold. He focuses on helping out his fellow man and woman
What
And then he says, hey.
What do I do now?
After hearing he's a firefighter, I don't know if I can go against Miocic. Jeez.
Awesome guy, but he's from Cleveland. He's going to lose.
Oh, geez. Oh, no.
When it comes down to it in crunch time, can't handle it.
He probably does the Stairmaster if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably does the
think
Stairmaster
so.
if I had to guess. All right, let's talk about Seahawks rookie cornerback, or formerly Seahawk rookie cornerback.
Kima Siverand.
There we go. Nailed it for trying. He got cut for trying to sneak a woman into the hotel. She was allegedly wearing Seahawks gear as an attempt to disguise her getting into the hotel. Tom Pelissaro was reporting on that yesterday, and I'm sure that Tom Pelissaro has reported a lot of different stories throughout his entire NFL news breaking life. This particular one took on a mind of its own yesterday just because cornerback Kima Siverand had the wherewithal, to not only say, get a lay of the land up there as a rookie player who's never been there before, undrafted player. So he's literally, who knows, backs against the wall, never been to training camp in the NFL before. First time, here we go. He gets in there. They're going through all the COVID stuff. We just watched the Rams and the Chargers, what they have to go through to get in the facility. I would assume that the hotel was also difficult to get through. But Seahawks rookie, much like some of the NBA players, he looked around the hotel and he found a weak spot. He thought he found a weak spot. And he was like, I'll tell you what, if the thirst gets a little strong sometime, I know exactly what I'm doing. It's going to be right over there. What are we, less than a week into training camp?
Yeah.
So he got, hey, shout out to this guy lasting 4 or 5 days, whatever it is,
Good
really
work.
being able to figure it out, really mapping it out. Because like Andy Dufresne did, whenever you map something out that intelligently and that deep, it's always going to work. And he says to her, no big deal. Here's the door. They come in. It's equipment staff. Maybe it's some of the players come in there. You put a hoodie on, maybe some joggers. And hey, how about this? Leave your cleats on so it looks like you're running sprints outside. Let's go ahead and get all those things. The girl's like, you got it. She puts on cleats. Clack, 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 clack through the lobby. They see it on camera. This guy is what we all assume is going to happen in the NFL. It's going to be tough to stop 22, 23, 24-year-old dudes and have them bubble up. And Dana White, speaking of UFC 252, he said that he doesn't see how the NFL or anybody else is going to be able to work because without a bubble, it's not going to work. Now, he has had great success with the Apex fighting thing in the basement of the UFC office in Vegas. He has had great success over there in Abu Dhabi, Fight Island. He has had the bubble success. The NBA has had bubble success. The NHL has had bubble success. The MLS has had bubble success. College football seems to be, from the NCAA's doctor's mouth, that Titanic waiting to play the band. They're probably not going to be able to make it happen, even though the SEC and the ACC and the Big 12 are going to try to power through. The NFL is going to be in a tough spot because if one person gets it, in the NFL, that means probably, granted, we know nothing about it. It was allegedly it could spread through the table, could spread through your eyes, your hands, your spit, your this, your that, your clothes, your blah, blah, blah. We know nothing about it. But if 2-3 guys get it, and you're worried, look, this rookie corner guy was undrafted. There's the number 53, number 58 person on the roster. They have to act in the exact same fashion as the number 1 player on the roster, because if not, in that locker room, it could get going. This is going to be tough. And it's a 10-day waiting period, I guess, after you get coronavirus or something like that, or 2 weeks or whatever it is. What if an entire team just gets wiped out? What are they going to do? Suspend, play games later like the MLB is trying to do? That ain't going to work. This is going to be a nightmare. And this is something, hopefully, that the rest of the NFL sees and goes, all right, guys, listen, with these thoughts, you guys are just going to have to get virtual reality cameras, and you're just going to have to do this thing yourself, all right? We cannot be having this type of thing happen because, boy, oh, boy, it's going to be a problem. They made an example out of this guy because this guy probably wasn't going to make the team, but the rest of the NFL is looking at this. And just like Sean McVay talked about the Marlins players, I bet you every NFL coach is pointing at this guy, circling him in the team meeting. This guy tried to do whatever you guys might be trying to do. He got cut. We'll do the same damn thing. It's like, will somebody roll the dice again? I'm leaning towards probably
100%. It's going to turn into an Ocean's 11 situation. You're going to see folks getting sneaked in dressed as hotel workers, maybe underneath the room service tray with the drape hanging over.
In a bag.
There's no stopping. Yeah.
in the back.
Yeah, backpack. Just
Oh, these are balls, man. I got a bunch of balls in here.
This is a bag of balls from practice. There's no stopping desperation.
No, well, not only desperation, the sex drive
I was trying to be nice about it.
Well, did you hear the word there at the end of the two words that you put together? Sex and drive. And some people's particular drive is an all-wheel drive. That thing is sometimes pushing, and we've heard the stories of that. That is going to be very interesting to see how they snip that particular drive. And just, I don't know. It's going to be tough. But that's what, when Spanos was talking to Chris Harris and Pouncey was just talking about it, about having to hold each other accountable, how are those conversations going to go? I am pumped. I wish I was in a locker room so I could hear one OG talk to a rookie about, hey, listen, just no WAP, bro. Okay?
Just wait.
Just none of that. Okay? You can't get it.
Couple weeks.
Just wait, I don't know, like 6 months.
Yeah.
And just 6 months. Not only that, by the way, what about just going to get food at a gas station? You have no idea. Or going to get a restaurant, you have no idea what you're going to do. It is insane to think about. And I hope Dana White, who has a big brain, is wrong. I hope he is wrong about the NFL not being able to survive with the bubble. But you look at what happened yesterday in Seattle, it makes you think, are humans going to be able to control themselves that much? I would have been tough to talk to, I think, back in the day.
0 for 1 so far.
Joining us now is a man who knows a lot about Dana White and the fighting world. He's ESPN insider, friend of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I only normally talk about one show, but he hosts like 75 podcasts at this point. Ariel Helwani's MMA show, Ariel and the Bad Guy, DC and Helwani. Ladies and gentlemen, Ariel Helwani.
Yeah!
How's it going, dude?
It's going well. I thought when you were talking about, people not controlling themselves, I thought you were talking about my guy, Adam Cole, is going to punch your head into next week whenever you show up to NXT. Are you going to show up, though, or are you going to be a jabron about it? What are you going to do?
Hang up on
Yep.
him.
What's this?
Get rid of him.
Are you going to show up?
Hang up.
You're not going to show up, right?
Hang up.
Hang up.
Hang up on it. I have to do it.
Why?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
Why?
Why?
You scared?
Well, you just say
scared?
you say he's gonna pump my head in next week. This is my show. We don't
I've
do
been sent
slander
here by the
and fake
greatest
news
NXT
here.
champion of all time, Adam Cole. Okay, I've been sent here to put you down, to let you know that if you don't show up, there's going to be problems, Pat McAfee.
That would make sense with your stupid ass backdrop there that you would be friends with Adam Cole, the most boring guy in television, Ariel Helwani, with his stupid extra
What's wrong with
bedroom
it?
backdrop.
What's wrong with it?
Yeah,
What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it?
What's wrong with it? I'm falling asleep looking at it. Now,
I'm in my freaking house here. I'm sorry I don't have a fancy schmancy studio right now that DraftKings or whoever paid for.
No.
I don't know.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Expos stink too.
DraftKings stinks just like you and Adam Cole. It's FanDuel. You have a little bit of respect.
Sorry.
FanDuel, by the way, big UFC, big into UFC.
Love it.
Big.
Yeah, well, they don't sponsor my show with DC, so you know what? We're not on their team. All right. Cheers.
Is it hard for you to do unbiased opinions whenever you host a podcast with one of the main eventers and one of the biggest fights here? Whenever you're talking about Mr. DC, Daniel Cormier, friend of the show, and a guy, Stipe, this is going to be a big-time fight. In my eyes, obviously it's a big-time fight, but in my eyes, the guy who has already decided he's going to retire, so this is what he's going to think about for the rest of his life, I feel like that guy probably has an advantage mentally over somebody else. Am I wrong in thinking that?
No different than you talking about the Indianapolis Colts, right? You're a fan, and you got to be honest about it. But the truth is, I've known DC for a very long time. I have a ton of respect for Stipe. I'm not rooting for anyone in particular, but I'm not going to hide the fact that he's my co-host and that we're, friends and all this stuff. So yeah, it is a little weird. I'll be honest with you. Yesterday when I saw them do the old square off, I was like, oh my God, DC's an actual fighter. He's not just a broadcaster or a podcast host. It's very bizarre because we haven't seen him fight in a year. So it was strange to see them in that light and not holding a microphone. At the end of the day, though, I've been worried, and I've told him this, that I feel like he's putting too much pressure on himself because you want the storybook finish, right? You want to end with the belt. You want to end with the W. You want to ride off into the sunset. I mean, how unique is this in sports? Very rarely do we know going into the final game, match, fight, that this is the definitive end for one of the competitors, right? Usually there are whispers, rumors, Jordan versus the Bulls, John Elway, but it's never so definitive. Here he's telling us time and again, this is it for me. And so to me, that raises the stakes and it puts more pressure on his shoulders. But he tells me he thrives under that pressure. This is 10th straight UFC title fight. He's competed in the Olympics, Oklahoma State University, all this stuff. He feels weird when there is no pressure, when there are no stakes. So I think he uses this to kind of get himself up for the fight. And so I'm not ultimately worried about him. The one thing I do worry about a little bit is when you have a foot out the door, when you're talking about retirement, sometimes you're not as motivated. With him, I don't think that's the case. I think he is very motivated to end on this high note. What are you saying about?
Did you tell him that you think he has 1 foot out the door already? Wow.
Yeah. I mean, he said it himself. He's retired. He's gonna retire.
Yeah, but
August 16th.
but he's all in. Now you're questioning his professionalism to say that he can't have a future goal and work on the current project. I mean, that's kind of that's upsetting to hear you talk about your co-host like that right there.
Mentally, when you say that you're done, when you say come August 16th that you're done, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I think that's a little more dangerous than the guy who's like, nah, I'm going to be around forever. By the way, think about this. If Stipe loses this fight, there's a very good chance, obviously the belt will be vacated, right? Because DC wins and then he retires. There's a very good chance that his next fight is for the belt as well. He'll be fighting Francis Ngannou probably for the belt. So you can make the case, while Stipe wouldn't like this, and he doesn't want to be a part of this fairy tale story, the retirement stuff, you can make his, there's no pressure on Stipe's shoulders because his next fight, even with a loss, could be for the belt.
So is that somebody, does he not care then? Is that in your eyes? Do you think he doesn't care? Because who cares? I'm going to get a title fight next time.
I'll get it next
Let me
one.
help this guy out. Let me get knocked out real quick by Cormier for his retirement, and then I'll go for the, you think that's, well then why do you think DC's 1 foot out the door already? I mean, Ariel, that doesn't make any sense.
He doesn't want to be a part of the story. He doesn't want to be a part of the fairy tale. He doesn't want to be a part of the narrative. Stipe is the most decorated heavyweight champion of all time. I don't know how much you know about him, but he's sort of like the Adam Cole of the UFC. He's like the most decorated heavyweight champion of all time. So this guy is really, really good. Yeah. He doesn't want to play a part in this little fairy tale. That being said, the only thing don't try to stir the pot between me and my co-host.
Yeah, you hate him.
All I'm trying to say is August 16th, he's done. And sometimes, I'm not saying in this case, I'm saying sometimes when you have an end date, when you know it's done, you're starting to think about the golf game. You're starting to think about the vacations. DC's not that guy. I'm just saying sometimes we've seen guys who are like, all right, I'm checked out. He's not that guy. I'm not worried about that. I'm just saying sometimes. Kind of reminds me of your last season with the Colts when you said that you were going to be a writer. You know, like you were done at that point. Look at the stats. You were done. You could speak to this probably more than I can. I'm still in my prime. I'm still going strong.
Yeah, just like Cormier went to the Pro Bowl. You know, ended up right on top, best in the league. Don't worry about it.
Pro Bowl.
Don't worry about it.
The Pro Bowl is reserved for the players that didn't make it to the Super Bowl. Those are the ultimate jabronis.
Hey, listen, I will tell you what. If I played a position that it mattered how I performed if we made it to the Super Bowl, I'm probably still playing at this point. By the way, that's the position I particularly played. That was maybe the most upsetting thing, by the way. It got to the point where I would have like the best game of my life. We'd lose by 20. It was like I wasn't allowed to be happy. I was upset because I'm competitive. It's like, well, all right, I'm becoming I can help, I guess, but I can't. If we're down 20, there's literally nothing I can do. Actually, I'm being told to stay on the bench if we're down 20. I mean, it is a wild thing. Let's talk about Stipe a little bit, though. This dude's a firefighter. I didn't know he was a firefighter. I just learned this guy's like an American hero at this point. This is insanity. Him and Cormier's last couple fights, I've been looking into him. The last one, Cormier had it won, and then basically Stipe came back and beat him. Cormier told us that he thinks he got too confident or something after the first couple rounds. He felt like he could do whatever he wanted. How do you think this fight goes? Do you think it's going to be a long one? Do you think they're going to be thrown? What do you think is going to happen?
DC went on your show?
Yeah, he's great too. He's much better than you. I mean, he was unbelievable.
I actually
way better than you.
explicitly told him not to do this show.
Yeah, he was so good. He's so much better than you.
Yeah,
he does it.
I'm surprised. I'm
happy he doesn't listen to you, by the way, because you're saying he's going to lose and all this. You're saying he's 1 foot out the door. I'm happy he doesn't listen to you, actually.
Stipe is an incredible human being. He's an American hero. He works as a firefighter in Independence, Ohio, and it's not like some gimmick. They work him hard. He has to clean the toilets when it's his time to clean the toilets. Like, the guy is just as down to earth as it gets. And by the way, during the pandemic, he was working. Huh? What's that?
That'd be hard if I'm Stipe, if I'm the heavyweight champion of the world at fighting, and somebody's like, well, it's your turn to clean the toilets. It's like, is it? I don't know. I don't think
you have dip in your mouth.
No, it's an ice cube. I got these little, when the ice cubes get small and then they start shooting through the hole in the Starbucks cup, they get you, dude.
Okay.
I don't chew. Only drug I can't do, tobacco. It's only one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. In any event, so he's really good, and he takes a break from the firefighting stuff when he fights, but this guy doesn't get enough credit. Like I said, most title defenses in UFC heavyweight history, most decorated champion, because he just doesn't like to do media. I don't know if you've ever heard an interview with him. Like, he doesn't enjoy it. He's a very fun-loving guy, but he doesn't speak very slowly, and it's hard to understand him. He's just different kind of cat. So maybe he doesn't get the attention, maybe he doesn't get the love that he deserves. But man, this guy is incredible. He's got knockout power. The first two fights were amazing. First fight, people forget. the beginning of that first fight, even though it was a relatively short fight, it ended in the first. Stipe was winning that fight very convincingly on the feet. And then, of course, he got knocked out with that short right. Then in the second fight, DC was winning early on, took him to the ground, was definitely dominating him on the ground with the wrestling. But then DC got cocky. And then, of course, Stipe knocked him out with the body shot. So I'm really curious to see what happens here. I know, by the way, smaller cage this time, 25-foot cage. That's better for DC. Yeah. There's less room to run.
Oh, yeah, because he's a wrestler. So normally you'd think like, oh, they're going to bang. But no, he's going to take him down and bang on his face a little bit, the American hero. Have you ever been on Dana White's IG Live?
I know why you're mentioning this, because I'm blocked by him on social media. It's like, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of mean.
I did not know that.
I was going to wish you a mazel tov on your nuptials, but now I'm not going to, and I take back those sentiments.
Oh, come on. Come on,
dude.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. Come on.
No.
That's it. Hey! Anyways, I'm gonna be on his. I'm gonna be on his IG Live this afternoon. No big deal. Me and Dana White.
Do me a favor. Just casually drop my name. See what happens.
I don't want to ruin my relationship with this guy. This is my first time. This is my first.
Casually, just say I was talking to Ariel earlier, and he had some great insights. See what happens.
What will
connection?
Why does he hate you? I know he was trying to fight Lebitard there for a little bit. I hope that still happens. What did you do?
You're the one talking to him later today. You ask him.
What did you do? You had to do something. I feel like he's a rather stern but fair man. I feel like he's stern but fair, and I feel like you probably had to do something. Is that you did something?
You think he's like the Earl Hebner of the UFC? Like he calls it down the middle?
Yeah, I do. I think he does.
Or is he like the Dave Hebner? Do you remember that?
Absolutely not. You know that I didn't know who that was.
What?
You know.
Okay, so we've established in our short time knowing each other, you know nothing about NBA history. You don't know who Chuck Person was, and you don't know who Earl Hebner, the greatest.
I know who Earl is.
Referee
You said Dave. I know who Earl Hebner is. You said Dave.
You don't remember the angle with his evil twin brother and Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan, Saturday Night's Main Event, 1987?
I'm going to be honest. Where were you? I don't know that. I don't know. I was probably
one of the all-time great angles.
No, when that was happening, I was literally swimming like this, around my dad's nutsack.
What?
You know what I mean? I think just wait.
Wait, just because you weren't born doesn't mean I could talk to you about NFL history. I could talk to you about Y.A. Tittle all day long, and I wasn't born. Okay?
You're talking about the rifle earlier too, by the way. Just because I didn't know the guy's first name doesn't mean I didn't know his nickname.
The rifleman. Someone told you that in your ear to try to save you. Okay? I know exactly what's going on.
No, I have a great memory. I did not remember man though. I thought it was just the rifle. I thought he was just
rifle sounds better.
I thought he was Remington. Let's talk about Sugar Sean. He's back. That guy is electrifying. One of the biggest stars of the quarantine early there with that big right that he landed on somebody's face. What's going to happen in his fight? Is he going to knock somebody out this week?
Well, he's fighting a really tough guy. By the way, DC texting me right now as we speak, and I think he's watching this, and he's like, I can't believe you went on that Jabron show. I mean,
that's not true. No, he said, I can't believe you're a Jabron.
I swear he's texting me right now. In any event.
You're so cool, dude.
Holy I know.
Oh, my God. Hey, Mazel, Ariel. You're so cool.
Speaking of being cool, how about Sugar Sean O'Malley sending me these gloves, these customized gloves? Look at that. Understandable. Look at that.
Wow.
Sugar Sean O'Malley is a guy that you want to know. If you're going to a party, a social distance party tomorrow night and watching UFC 252, tell everyone that you're on the Sugar Sean O'Malley bandwagon. He's got the look. He's got the punching power. I mean, I don't know if you've seen it. He's got the afro. He dyed his hair the color of the colors of the Ecuadorian flag because his opponent Marlon Chito Vera is from Ecuador, so he's just trying to needle him a little bit. Sad. I love that stuff. I love that sort of thing. And by the way, he's a great fighter, 25 years young. But this is by far the toughest test of his young career. Marlon should be on a 7-fight winning streak. He lost his last fight, but I thought he deserved to win. He's a really tough fighter, great on the ground as well. This is sort of like the last stop before you start to fight the contenders, right? Like if you can get by a Marlon Vera, now we'll talk about the top 10 guys. So it's a tough test for him, but I like Marlon Vera. I like Sean O'Malley a lot.
What are some other fights that people should keep their eye? Because who's that? Dana White calling you? Is that Daniel Cormier? Is that Sugar Sean calling you?
I'm not gonna say because you made fun of me last time. So
we were happy for you.
Was that
no?
No, we're happy for you. We celebrated.
I'm not so cool. I'm not gonna say.
Was that DC? He shouldn't be calling you anyways. He should be focusing on a fight, baby. I don't know why he's calling you right now.
Maybe I'm the secret weapon. Maybe I'm the last the little bit of ingredients that he was missing last year, maybe he has it in his life now, and he's asking me a few questions about the weight cut. Maybe, I don't know. You tell me. You be the judge.
I'm gonna say no. The any other fights we should keep our eye out for tomorrow that you think could potentially steal the night?
Yes, I like the Jairzinho Rosenstrike versus Junior Dos Santos fight. It's another heavyweight fight. Jairzinho just got knocked out by Francis Ngannou, but he's got incredible punching power. Junior Dos Santos, former UFC heavyweight champion, so that should be fun. And there's this guy named Merab Dewalishvili, who's an incredible wrestler. Who may not be the flashiest
Can you run that back?
guy.
Can you run that back? Merab.
Yes,
Last name?
Yeah, well, it's a tough one. It's Dvalishilvi. How about that? Damn,
Wow.
We don't know if you're right, but we have no idea if you were right.
No one knows. He's going up against John Dotson, who's a former title contender, who's a little man, who has a lot of energy. He calls himself the Magician. That should be a really fun fight as well. That's on the main card, too.
Okay. Where do you watch these from? Are you live during these fights? Do you have to work during these fights? What do you do?
Do I have to work during these fights? I mean, I'm the hardest working man of the game. Harder working man than you. I don't go around doing wrestling matches and whatnot. I sit in this cage that they haven't let me leave yet. So I'm not in Las Vegas, unfortunately, as you can tell. So I literally sit in this chair. It's a little bit depressing, I must say. This is my co-host's final fight, and I can't go to the fight. What's up with that? But, the pandemic and everything got me.
Hey, we have to go to a break on radio. Will you stick around for YouTube?
No, absolutely no.
Well,
Sure.
we don't really care.
Whatever.
You will?
You saw the ratings go up. You want me to stick around? I get it. Yes. I'd be happy.
All right, radio. We're back on the other side to wrap up hour one here. If you want to watch the conversation, don't know why you would, with Ariel Helwani, continue at youtube.com/the Pat McAfee Show. This is that show, and it is a dumb one.
And good.
Oh, jeez.
Jay.
Thank you,
All
Jay.
right, let's go.
Hey, way to go. Don't know if we're clear. Watch the fucking F-bombs over there. Robbie Fox, Barstool, he's there. What's that all about? He's at the fight. What's going on? Is there any, is it because is it because Robbie's an accredited,
a little higher
you know what I mean? An accredited journalist? Is that why?
When you're sitting on top of the mountain, Pat, you don't punch down. Okay, so I'm not going to.
I think Robbie. By the way, Robbie's our guy.
Bob Fox.
I would like to let you know that Bob Fox is our
You're
guy.
trying to get me to say something, and then you're going to play for him, and he's going to feel cool because Ariel Helwani said something about him. You don't punch down, Pat. You should know that.
Rob Fox would knock you out, Ariel. You need to know that right now. Do you not think, though, that you, in the head of the sport that you cover, having a very terrible relationship is probably not good business, or has it been good business that he hates you?
For who?
I'm talking about you and Dana.
No, but who's a good business, bad business? Who are you referring to, me or him?
Oh, so you think bad business for Dana not getting along with the big
No,
journalist?
I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
Flipped the script right there.
Ask a clear question. I'm just asking. If you're asking me, I'd say business is doing pretty well. I work for ESPN. I cover the NBA. I'm on sidelines. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. So.
And
thank you for your concern.
Hey, no, I'm pumped too, but I feel like, and I tried to do this with Donovan McNabb and T.O. just a couple weeks ago, and it backfired.
Yeah.
It backfired very much. I was like,
no. Listen, I'll stir the pot with the best of them. I don't take it personally. You can ask whatever you want. I'm just saying, I didn't know who, I thought you meant like, is it bad for him that he can't talk to me? And, you would have to ask him that question on your little Instagram live thingy that you're doing later. If you're asking me, I'm telling you, life is good. I'm happy. I work for the worldwide leader. They were talking to me about doing Monday Night Football. I'm too busy. I don't know if they'll get to you at some point, maybe in 2035 or something like that. And then I see you campaigning for it all the time on Twitter. It's getting a little pathetic at this point.
You would get Monday Night Football before me, Bob.
I know. So
that is something that is very.
Life is good.
So how many burners do you have that you follow Dana on?
Burners, like CD burners, like
like fake accounts so you can follow what Dana White's doing.
What? So I can watch his Instagram live with you? Like,
yes.
What am I missing out on?
That is what I was actually going to ask you. Is what account are you going to use to watch me with Instagram? Because what if I am going to mention you in there? Actually, by the way, hopefully
you don't have the cojones to even say a name with the letter A at the beginning of it. I can't stand that. Go to wholesale next week.
How about
to
this
talk
one?
to Adam Cole than you saying my name on this Instagram from thousands of miles away. There's a better chance of that, I guarantee you.
A letter A name or whatever. I go, Dana, how about that asshole that works for ESPN? It'll be
No chance.
Yeah.
You won't even go there. You're too afraid to even go there.
No, I doubt it. Actually, probably. It's my first conversation with the guy. Let's go ahead and win him over a little bit. And then hammer time, Ariel Helwani. Let's talk about it. What do you got, Connor?
Ariel, DC was training with Super Sensei Steven Seagal. Can you give us any insight as to the tips that he was receiving?
No, because they shut off all the cameras. Now, worth noting, that is an old clip. It's from, I think, 2 years ago. But what an amazing clip that is, right? Like, Sensei Seagal, I don't know if you've ever been in this man's presence, but he is just an unbelievable mind. In fact, when I interviewed him at UFC 126 many moons ago. He asked my cameraman, no joke, to hold the camera above his head and shoot down so that he wouldn't look as big, from eye level. I mean, that's a brilliant mind right there. That's a guy who sees all angles and knows what's going on. Maybe DC pulls out a trick that Sensei, taught him a couple years ago, but I think he's pretty comfortable with the tricks that he's got in his bag.
Hey, that guy stinks, huh? Being around him?
No. Who? Sensei or DC?
Sensei.
No, I love him. Sensei's a legend. What are you talking about? Stinks? Unless you mean like literally stinks. And
no, I'm talking about like sucks. Like that guy sucks, right? Doesn't he?
No, he's great. Martial arts legend. Taught Anderson Silva everything that he knows. Taught Leo Machida everything that he knows. What are you talking about? One of the all-time great minds in the history of martial arts, period. You talk about Bruce Lee? Bruce Lee was here. Sensei's like right up here.
Have Cole fans.
What did Bruce Lee do to deserve that ricochet shot? What did that guy do? Unbelievable.
Go after someone who's passed.
Why was Jackie Chan trending yesterday, by the way? Speaking of just absolute
tribute, a lot of tributes.
Yeah, a lot of tributes.
He deserves more.
He's the top 5 greatest stuntman of all time.
Bingo. No,
Wait, Jackie Chan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What's he training for?
No, it was tributes. There was no training.
Rush Hour 4.
A lot of montages.
Oh, sorry. I guess I missed that. My feed was so cluttered with you begging for that Monday Night Football job, I didn't see any of the tributes.
All right, you're the fucking worst. Ladies and gentlemen, Ariel Helwani. Thank you, man.
Thanks, guys.
I enjoy him a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Business is good over here. I don't know. Do we have anything to read?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. Ladies and gentlemen, good old Ty Schmidt.
Here's the thing about home security companies. Most trap you with high prices, tricky contracts, and lousy customer support. So while there are a lot of options out there, there's only one no-brainer, and that's Simply Safe. Simply Safe's got everything you need to protect your home with none of the drawbacks of traditional home security. It's got an arsenal of sensors and cameras to blanket every room, window, and door tailored specifically for your home. Professional monitoring keeps watch day and night, ready to send police, fire, or medical professionals if there's an emergency. And you can set it up yourself in under an hour. Just peel and stick the sensors exactly where you need them. No technician required.
Wow.
And there's no contract, no pushy sales guys, no hidden fees, and no fine print. All of this starts at just $15 a month. And we're not the only ones who think Simply Safe is great. U.S. News and World Report named it the best overall home security of 2020.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They don't just hand that one out.
No, they don't. Nothing to sneeze at.
No, yeah, of course.
Try Simply Safe today at simplysafe.com/Pat, and you get free shipping and a 60-day risk-free trial. There's nothing to lose. That's simplysafe.com/Pat.
I'll tell you what, Ariel, what a human being. A lot of good conversation. Told us nothing about the fight for DC and Stipe except for his slanderous opinions on both sides of it. Mm-hmm. Excited. Big weekend. This may be one of the biggest weekends UFC has had here in a while. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is big fight card.
Heavyweights always feel big, regardless of what sport, right?
Well,
they own boxing. Well, literally and figuratively. Could be a good time. Saturday's going to be a good time for us.
I'm pumped to watch. I am very, very pumped to watch. Here's a couple little breaking news things. Bill Belichick called Cam Newton a hardworking kid.
What's going on?
Which is, by the way, that's from what we know about Bill Belichick, that's all he gives a single damn about. He took the third reps, I guess, in practice yesterday, and that's potentially just to troll all of the media people there, or maybe we were wrong this entire time. One of the top 10 quarterbacks probably in the NFL right now is potentially a third stringer with the Patriots behind Stidham and Hoyer.
Obviously.
Jason Baum, who's the PR man for Boston College, I do believe, formerly of West Virginia. He's a graduate of West Virginia. He said overall Boston College has administered 792 COVID-19 tests to football student athletes, coaches, and athletics department staff with only one positive test. And the one student athlete has since recovered. In Boston, by the way, Boston was a pretty...
Oh, yeah. It was like ground zero almost at the start.
No, seriously, it was very close.
This is wild. You got a lot of people come out and saying, hey, you guys canceling things is basically putting our medical and our processes in question. We want to let you know we are working. Harbaugh comes out, Bussett College comes out, everybody's coming out. Penn State's coming out. We're doing this right. Get the hell off our ass. But then that rookie corner for Seattle Seahawks trying to get a thought in there is just going to be the conversation piece. We're back on the other side. We got Danny Amendola joining us in the second hour. This is the Pat McAfee Show, a very dumb show. All right, let's take some phone calls here. Mitt, way to answer these, bub. Mitt, way to go.
Boy, Mitt.
Black back in.
Let's go to Austin in Idaho. What's going on, Austin?
Oh, not a lot. Just hanging out here. Got the news yesterday that our football, Boise State football, is going to cancel. And from what I've been reading, we bring in all the money to the university. So I do not understand what we are going to do without any of this money. It sounds like we are going to fail as a school. So what is the plan going forward?
Do you play for Boise State?
No, but a few of my friends did.
Oh, okay. Because you said we, and I thought you potentially played for it. But Boise State, if I'm not, there was a run there back in the day. Boise State was what? BCS Fiesta Bowl they won, some other stuff.
Oh, yeah. You want to hear about old Kellen Moore, the tosser from Prosser? Went 50-3 in college.
And who was the running back? Ian Johnson? No.
Yes, sir.
Ian Johnson. Yeah, he proposed there. I remember that. They did the Statue of
IJ,
Liberty.
baby.
Yeah, I absolutely loved Boise State's run there.
Best night of my life.
And by the way, you got the blue turf and a lot of birds flying there and die. We know all the Boise State talk.
No, that hasn't happened for years.
Oh, the birds smartened up. Good for them. Or I actually heard 5G potentially just instead of them getting to the water, they're just in the sky, they get it, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the money thing is something that's very interesting. Great question, Austin, over there in Idaho. The money thing is so interesting because if schools make decisions strictly on money, boy, they are going to be painted as the worst motherfuckers on earth. If greed is the reason you're making decisions, the optics and the way you will be attacked, and they know it, would be insane. But then you think about it from like a realistic standpoint. It's like, hey, all this happens because of money. Mm-hmm. You are still a terrible person if optically or whatever it is. So Boise State, what if we lose Boise State? What if the Broncos are no longer because they can't survive this entire thing? By the way, I think there's going to be a lot of things that unfortunately do not survive.
The quarantine.
There's going to be a lot of shit that's potentially going to happen. But the money thing is a real question. You can't talk about it because you're a greedy pig if you talk about it. But that is a real factor. There's everything revolves around it. It's the most evil thing on planet Earth. But everything that you see, basically, unless you're just a gypsy or a homeless person and it doesn't matter, everything else that revolves around that. In the fact that it is not, I'm very surprised that it has not reared its head into more of these fucking decisions, to be honest with you. And that is the most surprising thing. I think at the beginning of this COVID-19, I did not think it was that big of a deal. I think at the very, very beginning, like when they canceled the NBA game and then they were moving March Madness, I think everybody on earth was like, what the fuck could this potentially be? They're like, well, you need to go in for 2 weeks. We're like, oh, do the 2 weeks thing. And then a month in, 2 months in. And then when I started seeing billions and billions of dollars getting canceled and moved, I was like, wait a minute. Normally money talks. And in this particular case, it seems like it has not at all.
Well, and I don't know why it needs to be vilified, because it's not just the schools. It's like these small college towns rely on the income of like a football Saturday. Like a lot of these college towns are going to die, like these businesses and everything. They have no shot.
Well, look at Indianapolis. We're a convention city. All the conventions canceled. Restaurants down here struggling. They haven't been able to work because the mayor here has shut them down since day one, basically. Everything's been shut down. Everything's boarded up. There's a lot of change that's coming out of this. But nobody's going to die.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or are they?
Well,
we don't fucking know.
Some people will.
People have died.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying this is why all these things were put into place, is so that nobody would die. But now we're at the point where a lot of people have already died. So it's like, how do we get out of this? Do we ever get out of this? Will people always die? I think, by the way, final answer, Yeah, I do. I do think people are always going to.
And with the money too, at LSU, outside of football, basketball, and baseball, 11 of the sports they had lost more than $1 million for the school. So it's like they're costing so much in each. Yeah,
yes.
11, each of them. So I mean, they're costing so much, and only football is the profit. So it's like, well, of course they're going to cancel every other sport.
Well, I don't know how they're going to get football off the ground down there in the SEC, the ACC, the Big 12. By the way, we all have been watching. I've been pounding that drum harder maybe than anybody else on this fucking planet, but I don't know how optically they're going to be able to put, and that sounds like such a bullshit reason for why they can't do it, but I think optically is going to end up being the reason why they can't do it. Now, granted, safety and everything like that, of course, paramount, but that is going to be why they're going to get attacked, because now you got the NCAA person coming out and be like, oh, it's a Titanic, this shit's going down, we already hit the fucking iceberg. It's like, okay, so now if they push ahead, everybody's going to be like, we told you if something bad happens, and they have to actually look out for that because of money getting sued later on down the road. So it is money driven, I guess, these decisions being made.
Oh yeah, and Syracuse, all those players now are saying like they're supposed to play, that they're not going to do it if there's not more testing. So
welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Hour 2 kicks off in beautiful fashion. We have Danny Amendola, wide receiver for the Detroit Lions, joining us. Former Super Bowl champion of the New England Patriots, joining us in about 30 minutes. He and I have had great times together. Last time he was on, good conversation. What's going on with the Lions? What is this year like in the NFL? You've been around a long time. Do you feel as if the Lions are potentially getting to a place where they're going to win games? Is that potentially going to happen, Danny? How does Danny think Tom's going to do, maybe in a different place? What does Danny think about Joe Montana coming out and saying all Tom wanted was a little bit of say, his opinion wanted to be a little bit respected? We'll talk to Amendola about all of that in 30 minutes, and we'll also talk to him about whether or not he thinks the NFL is going to finish their season. And he'll probably say, I have no idea, because I don't think anybody in the NFL knows, and I don't think anybody knows, and that's the world that we're currently in. The only thing that we know is we got 1 hour on this Feel Good Friday left, and we're going to try to make the most of it. We're going to try to make your life as fantastic as fashion. At Nick Moroto's here, at Boston Connor's here, Ty Schmidt is here, Jason McAfee's here, Viva Lazito is here, Evan Foxy's here, intern Mitt is on the phones, 1-833-622-3331. He has answered calls since the first hour had started. Very nice of you to do that. And on the couch, Mr. Mansouri. Let's dive into my favorite thing about baseball. Baseball, the sport, I think, is very tough to watch. I've always thought this. When I was growing up, my dad actually didn't let me play because he hated it so much. He actually preferred soccer over baseball, which was a wild move. A lot of people, hindsight, would question that. But he hated baseball so much because it's so boring, so long, everything like that. They call it a pastime, literally, because all you do is just kind of pass time whenever it's happening. It's a 7-hour game. Everybody knows it. Not a lot of action, but there is a lot of precision. There's a lot of athleticism happening in spurts. And after I became a professional baseball player for the Washington Wild Things, I have a lot more respect for the sport of baseball than I did before that going in there. A lot more fun than I imagined, but it's still a tough sport to watch. But this quarantine, whenever they shut down spring training as this thing started, then they started getting into the bubble talk. The drama of baseball is my favorite thing going. That thing is a soap opera over there. The MLB is a soap opera, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Reality TV at its finest. Whether it's Rob Manfred picking his foot up and shoving it in his mouth on very regular occasion, or whether it's them trying to negotiate a deal with the players on how much money they're going to spend and how much they're going to play and all this, whether it's the Marlins players potentially going to the store to pick up 1 gallon of milk for the team and then they end up getting shut down, whether there's suspension. It's like the drama of baseball has had me hooked for a while, even though the game hasn't. I was actually kind of bummed that the games are coming back because I was so invested in the drama, but now we have this 60 game, which could potentially be 40 games for some teams, could be 45 games for some teams, could be 60 games for some teams. Now they have the season off and running, and the story that captured the headlines wasn't just Tony Fauci throwing arguably the worst opening pitch in the history of baseball.
Right there, 50.
Right there, 50 Cent was very thankful for what Tony Fauci did. Arguably, now granted, he said he threw his arm out whenever he was warming up for that thing, so he's basically set out there to fail, and he just wanted to do it because that's how much he cared about baseball coming back. And then obviously sat in the stands. There's some photos of of him there, and whatever. The first night, there's a lot of good stories. Then the story of Joe Kelly becoming my favorite baseball player. Now Trevor Bauer, Power Hour, I like him a lot as well. He came on the show. Tucker Barnhart, catcher for the Reds, I like him as well. But Joe Kelly, strictly as a personality and as a human on the reality show of baseball, I'm a big fan of. Obviously, against the Astros, he was throwing at people's heads. He got ejected. He gave them a baby talk on his way out. And then there's stories about him from years ago getting suspended for doing damn near the same thing, showing up at the game and sitting in the stands. Then there's this offseason where he was practicing a new pitch and he missed a 40-yard net and hit his house and broke a window. I love this Joe Kelly guy. And his suspension was 8 games, I do believe.
Yep.
And it's gotten shortened now since that entire thing because he fought a little bit.
Yep.
But he's come out and started talking about how he feels about the Houston Astros. This was just a couple of days ago. And he said that they're snitches and rats and a bunch of bitches, I do believe, and not worthy of being called respectable men. Because what he was saying is that some of these players, the big names that didn't get in trouble at all, actually just ratted out their coaches, they ratted out scouts, they ratted out executives, and they got no penalty. They kind of got protected. So Joe Kelly has this mafia mindset. You turn on the family, you're a rat, you're a snitch. I'm throwing a 96-mile-an-hour fastball at your head if I have to get through it. And I love Joe Kelly more and more as the day goes by. Now, granted, if I'm Bregman and I'm put in that position, what do? I don't tell anybody because I ain't no bitch and I ain't no snitch and I ain't no rat. But the fact that Bregman did, and now that's getting out. I don't know if it was Bregman, by the way. I don't know if it was Bregman. That's just everybody's alluding to the fact that it was because he threw it at his head. But the fact that Joe Kelly hates them even more, because not only that they cheated, he said. Not only did you guys cheat, but also you're cheaters and rats. So that is just, you're two different type of people. Will Joe Kelly ever get over this? I don't think so. And I love the fact that he's so competitive. He got so mad about them turning on other people.
Yeah, we talked about this before. I mean, this is still all Rob Manfred's fault. Like, that moron, if he would have come out and done anything when this started, then you probably wouldn't have as much of this because those guys would have got suspended. But good for him, because from all the players we've talked to, like, they've all said, like, hey, this is ridiculous. And it seems like he's the only one who has the balls to come out and actually let everyone know how he feels about it.
Hey, the game said it on Twitter. He said rats and snitches seem to be living a pretty good life when he was talking about, obviously, Tekashi 6ix9ine there. But these Astros guys, I didn't know that they also turned on people. I thought they all just kind of got a pass. I didn't know there was actual punishment. I guess people got fired and there was a lot of people who had their jobs and everything like that. I didn't know that happened. So as there's more and more unfolding in this soap opera and reality show, it's kind of hooking me back in, by the way. We got trash cans, we got electronics, we got balls getting thrown ahead, we got rats, we got snitches, we got an idiot stooge running the whole thing. I mean, it is the makings for a great show. Forget the sport. Like, let's not even worry about the sport. Everything that happens around it is incredible.
Well, and then last night, too, you had Steven Strasburg in the Nationals. He wasn't pitching. He was sitting up in the crowd, and he was arguing balls and strikes, dropping F-bombs at the ump, got ejected. Like, that stuff's starting to happen more. It's awesome.
That's baseball.
That is baseball. So maybe my dad and I had it wrong all the time. It's not about the sport itself. It's about everything that has come with it, especially when you talk about the MLB. That is awesome. Steven Strasburg, big fella. He's a champion, obviously. Ejected from Nats game on his day off while sitting in the stands. I guess he was in like one of the 100 sections, and he was just yelling at the umpire the entire time. He must have had previous beef with that umpire. Is that the case?
Yeah, maybe. I wouldn't be surprised. Also, the if you watch like the replay, whoever was pitching, the bases were loaded, and he was getting squeezed big time. I mean, like the umpire, like 2 very bad calls back to back.
Oh, so by the way, a lot of people talk about the NBA, how the refs can control it. If you think about the bags being loaded, okay, hey, we got runners on all the bases here. What are some other?
The ducks on the pond, sacks packed.
Pitcher's got a big butt.
Well, Strasburg could have said that, but instead he was going to bat for the pitcher, I do believe. So there's maybe big butt, though. Big butt means probably pretty explosive, so it might be a compliment, actually. Yeah. But the fact that an ump can – you said squeeze the strike zone a little bit. Now you're giving runs to people if you really want.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a situation like that, if you go down like 2-0 on a hitter, you can't walk him. You can't put him on base. You're going to bring in another run, so you pretty much have to, throw something dead red and hope that the guy, your pitch is better than his.
Yeah, and good chance to get good wood on there, especially if it's dead red,
That's right.
Hey, you hang 'em, I bang 'em is what they say.
Exactly right.
Baseball. The drama is so much better than the sport, I think.
just the brawls.
And I think they should potentially. Yeah, and then the brawl last week
with the A's.
with the
and the Astros hitting coach.
A coach was like this. I mean,
Said something about his mom.
the drama of baseball is so much better than sports. No offense. I know you guys love
none
the sport.
taken.
I know baseball people love the sport, but if I'm a baseball fan, if the reason why you want to watch our sport is because of all the drama that comes with it, hey, it doesn't matter. Come on in and look at it. This is the most invested I've been in the MLB, and it's every time something terrible happens. And I think that is kind of baseball's history throughout this entire.
Well, and after the brawls too, it carries over. Like Joe Kelly, he said, not exactly, but he was like, I was told I enticed the brawl with the Astros, but hey, I was socially distancing. I was walking back to my dugout. They were the ones that were enticing the brawl and walking over to our dugout.
Yeah, you see the rats? You see those rats kind of weaseling their way over from there? That's on them. That is, I mean, those are some tough things to be called. Not only are you a cheating bastard, okay? Now you're a rat bastard.
Not even
as
a
well.
man.
Those are potentially the two worst bastards. Yeah, not even respectable men, bitches, the whole thing. Joe Kelly went ham there. Do they play again? That is something we should keep an eye on. When the Dodgers and Astros play, by the way, I will watch strictly because of the drama.
Yes.
Like that, they should start selling it that this is you're here for the drama.
A UFC fight.
All right. In the first hour, yeah, like a UFC fight. Big one this weekend. I'm on with Dana White this afternoon, by the way, if my house has good enough connection to connect to the IG Live, which it has proven in the past to not be. So we shall see.
Go to Jay's house.
Oh, yeah, Jay
forget.
does have good Wi-Fi up there in the front of the property. Jay,
Throttles your
I
net.
do. I am very intrigued, Jay, by how you can just play Call of Duty for 7 hours with 200
Jay.
people up there, and I can't even connect to an IG Live in my particular. Did you? And you're an IT guy. Jay graduated with honors from a tech school.
Jay, birthday, Jay.
Jay, is there some wires getting cooked up there to steal my Wi-Fi for your stupid Call of Duty game that's happening every single night?
No. I wish I could.
Whoa.
Oh, so you said you would do it.
If I could. I mean, I would, but I can't.
Well, you can, though. I know that you can. Like, that is something that I literally
Sounds
just
like
talked
you
about.
did.
And it sounds like if you could, you would. That means you can, you did. That is what that sounds
Stinky
like.
cheese.
I did not. I really do wish I could, but I can't do that.
I really do wish I
I wish I could steal your Wi-Fi, but
I want to let you know, if I could boost mine, that'd be great, too. I'd go over to the neighbors, too. Jay's got a DJ that lives across the street that practices his sets all day, every day. It's just like,
bangers.
It's hard to tell.
Sounds
All you hear is
like
the
it.
bass. That's all you hear is that for 7 hours straight every night.
Hey, the guy's got good stamina. That DJ right there, that guy has got good stamina. We're a live show, daily show, Feel Good Friday. So there's probably some things that we should cover so people know that it's happening in the world. So to do that, things that are happening in this world that you should know about, because we are a live show and we should tell you, with our friend Nick, this is some news.
Thank you, Pat. Things that are happening in this world because we are a live show that you should know about, brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped offers up precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Go to manscaped.com, get 20% off, plus free shipping. Don't forget about the free shipping with the code PATM. The Buffalo Bills, shout out Bills Mafia, signed coach Sean McDermott to a 6-year contract extension on Wednesday. He is just the third coach in franchise history to make the playoffs in 2 of his first 3 seasons with the team.
Congrats to him. We talked to old Bean, the GM up there, and continuity is going to be a big deal up there. Remember, they got rid of Tyrod Taylor, who was the quarterback that got them to the playoffs. And the first year, I think McDermott was there, maybe second year, first year, I guess McDermott was there. And they got rid of him immediately afterwards. And they have trusted McDermott's brain. They've trusted the process. They have kind of done what they got to do. They're sticking with him. Signing him to how many year? 6-year deal. That is a massive contract. That is saying, hey, we got faith in you. Let's keep it moving. Josh Allen at quarterback. I asked Bean, the general manager, if he was going to bring in Cam Newton potentially or ever thought about bringing in Cam Newton. He said, no, I want to empower our guy. I want him to know that this is his team. That team last year went into Houston, obviously lost. He made a decision late in the game to pitch the ball almost over the head and turn it over, but he got better from his first year, Josh did. I assume he's going to get better this year. And maybe the Bills go on a tear in the AFC East, which is a big question mark. You got the Jets, who are the Jets. You got the Dolphins, who have a new quarterback down there in Tua. And you got the Patriots, who knows how that's going to work out. You got Cam Newton with the third stringers. I mean, maybe this is time for the Bills Mafia to really circle the wagons and keep this thing going for at least another 6 years with Sean McDermott.
Yeah, but if Josh Allen gets signed right to a contract and then they start to fall off a little bit, who's getting canned? The quarterback or the coach?
or the GM.
Or the GM.
I mean, there's a lot of questions.
Beanie, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions because if you think about what the Bears situation is,
Yes.
Mitchell Trubisky fell off a little bit. And
do you
what
mean?
happened? Oh, Nick Foles got brought in because Pace and Nagy had to have a full conversation and say, hey, are we going to get fired here and go down on this Trubisky hill? Or are we potentially going to bring in a guy who knows this system, has won a Super Bowl, and for some reason down in Duval, they want to get rid of him. Maybe we do that. And they're like, deal. Then we'll just say it's competition. We'll say it's competition for sure. Nick Foles, Mitchell Trubisky, fair competition at starting quarterback job. Both of them are getting paid very well. Both of them have been starting quarterbacks. Everybody will understand this is a competition. Competition is good for everybody. We say it all the time.
Very done.
Nick Foles is going to be starting quarterback up there.
By a mile.
Through my sources, I've heard that Nick Foles will be the starting quarterback.
Yeah, everybody knows that. Everybody, but I like that your sources, by the way, have told us numerous things, and they have not proven to be wrong on many occasions.
Exactly,
Zito
yeah.
will say things that are completely wrong with a straight face as if it's his brain. But if it comes from somebody else's brain, normally pretty accurate. So that's how you have to kind of decipher through the Zito brain. It's like, is this a Zito thought or is this somebody else's that put it in there? Because now we got to balance it out. Because he will lie right to your face.
a very dark place,
and
man.
feel very good about it, too. Like, Zito will look you right in your eyes, lie to you, walk it off, and give himself like a...
Zito has said to me before, after a fact, like, yeah, I don't know if that's true.
I've never said that. It's always true.
See, there it is.
There you go.
Just did it again. Just
Yeah, it
did
might be a lie.
again.
It's the best.
Anything else happening in the world, Nick?
Yeah, Pac-Man Jones, obviously everyone saw the video where he burned a box of Joe Hayden jerseys. He initially said that because his instinct led him to believe that Joe Hayden was behind the prank. After talking with Joe, he no longer believes that. He suspects it was another Steeler, none other than Peasy Joey Porter.
Whoa. Joey
That's
P?
hysterical. Then I heard, by the way, there's a lot of signed jerseys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you how much money was there. The box showing up with 50, probably,
Yeah,
probably
50,
50 autographed Hayden jerseys. That was a rather large investment. And the fact that they knew that Pac would probably act like this is next level. He went after Hayden a little bit in the video.
Good instincts, too, to assume that Joe Hayden sent a box of his own jerseys autographed.
By the way,
Oh.
hey, you don't know the game. You don't know the game. Maybe Hayden wanted
Trolling.
to troll a little bit, but I believe he went on TMZ to talk about it, and he said that Drew Rosenhaus was trying to act like a peacemaker, and Pac went on to say that I ain't got no beef with Joe Hayden anymore because I don't think it was him, but I do hate Drew Rosenhaus. So I
That's
love
the
it.
best.
I love everything about that. Pac-Man, by the way, he's been a guest on our show. He is. I am a massive Pac-Man Jones fan.
Oh, yeah.
Knocked out a guy in the middle of an airport while holding his chicken just fresh off the thing. Knocked a guy out because the guy started it with him, a worker at the airport, and he just knocks him out. All the other stories, by the way, of him making a lot of mistakes whenever he was younger, then having to grow through them because he came from an area where you're not his group around him, I do believe, whenever he was growing up, that he was loyal to. It's hard to make that transition away from whenever you come up with something like that. He's grown. He's going to make mistakes. I mean, Pac-Man is going to make mistakes, but I feel like he's a much better human than he was, and he's had a massively long career, and he's still got the dog in him too.
Oh,
which
yeah.
it doesn't always happen. I am a Pac-Man Jones fan.
Before he lit those jerseys on fire, he said, "Oh, I'll show you. I don't play. I'm gonna show you guys how hood I am." And then he started pouring the gasoline on it.
That's
awesome.
the comfort with the gas tank.
Very good with
Moses Lawn a lot, I bet.
Very, very. I mean, the pull of the thing, I will say I have ran out of gas before on a street that did not have a side thing, and I had to sprint to said gas station about a half mile away, get gas can from there, fill up gas tank, sprint back. For about 45 minutes, could not figure out that gas. I tried my best. I tried to shove the thing in there. I eventually figured it out because, had to because I almost died a few times. But how comfortable he was with that thing.
I will
it
say,
was
though,
a
he
good-
always rides those dirt bikes and those ATVs. He's a big, big outdoor guy.
He also, on Hard Knocks, he ran out of gas on the highway, if you remember, and then they had to go get one of those tanks for him too.
Same one.
I'll tell you what. Every once in a while, those little gauges, they don't give you an accurate
They're
read.
wrong.
Lie to you.
I mean, technology is great. They tell you got 31 miles left, and then all of a sudden it's a wait a minute.
Give me some more.
I have ran out of gas before. It is not a good time.
No.
I got AAA too, and the good thing with that is you only got to sit there for 2-3 hours.
That's it. That's it.
All right, cool. This is great.
Nowhere to
news.
be. I'm not driving anywhere.
Anything else happening, Nick?
Yeah, KD, OBJ, and Marshawn made cameos in Drake and Lil Durk's new video, Laugh Now, Cry Later. and you're gonna love this one. Drizzy's new album, his 6th studio album, will be called Certified Lover Boy.
See,
Troll.
I respect that he's doing that. You know, I like that he has just come out and said, listen, this is what I am now. I don't go ham anymore. Okay, I just don't do it. I actually saw 50 Cent in an interview talk about this, how whenever you're a rapper and a singer, it can prolong your entire career because you got kind of hit two different audiences at this point. Drake dominated the rap game for a long time. Whenever like 2009 through there, he was dominating. Then he became like hey, I'm going to sell out arenas and it's going to be all females in there. And I can't bash him for it. Can't bash. But this album is going to be released before Kanye's.
Good question.
Kanye's not releasing an album.
You guys still big Kanye fans? Like Foxy, you make a lot of excuses for
like
Kanye.
Kanye.
I don't have any excuses anymore. Now it's just a big
What do
troll
you mean?
job.
I
He's
like
still the
Kanye.
best.
You like Kanye?
Oh yeah, I like Kanye, but that album, I mean, those were just 10 songs that he just thought of on the spot. Those aren't even being made right now. He doesn't have anything.
No, they're made already.
Yeah, for like the last time he was out in Wyoming creating the album, and it was delayed, and then the album came out, it was like what, 3 songs or something like that,
all
and
of it.
they all stunk. It felt like you just went into a studio and just hit like a couple keypad, boom, 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 and then put it out, do a little auto tune here.
His next song is always the best, though.
What's
no matter
that?
What? His next song is always the best.
See that?
Next
I
shot,
like
best
that.
shot.
I
you
like
what.
that his fan base is so loyal that they don't care if he just puts
Shut
out.
down,
He
content.
does
baby.
trick me though, because when he said he was running for president, I'm like, oh, album coming. Actually, this time, no, definitely not.
Hey, have you
Opposite.
seen the shoes
Definitely.
that he's going to be attempting to sell?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Cuba.
Are those dinosaur
real?
rocks?
Those have to be fake.
There's no
I
way
already saw
someone
'em.
would pay for those.
There's
I already bought
Oh,
a
they
pair.
will.
Zito bought a pair. Connor would probably buy
No,
a pair.
no, I got my eyes on the J. Cole shoes since she's going to be in the NBA soon.
I like J. Cole.
Speaking
a
of
lot.
Yeah.
that Drake
Kuzma.
music video is basically one big Nike commercial.
I love that.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart. Nike making a good play.
Nike
I
knows.
love Nike.
19 minutes after the hour. Thanks for that news, Nick. I feel like we covered everything we're supposed to cover. Did KD and Drake do anything in there? They fight?
They play one-on-one.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant wins by 200
He's
points.
swatting them, and it's awesome.
Swatting Drake in
Yeah, he
it.
swats Drake in it. It's great.
See, I do believe Drake is an entertainer.
Marshawn lays him out, and then OBJ throws Drake a pass.
Marshawn lays him out. That's awesome.
Yeah, I saw the clip of Marshawn laying out something.
Yeah.
And then I saw OBJ looking on or something like that. I did not know what it was for. Now I do. That's why this is a good live show. Look at it. News coming in there. How's the song?
Pretty good.
I like it.
I like it, yeah.
Oh, so it's soft. 20 minutes after the hour, we're back on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show. There's a grown man with face paint on. So you're Big Nut.
I am, and you're Little Nut.
Well, I've had a few of those in my life. I'll tell you what, Big Nut. I hope to find you one day on my wedding night. Big Nut!
Little Nut.
You did a great job, too. The lines are straight. No DUI problem there. You're really doing a great job here, sir. Hey, Big Nut, I love everything you're about, bud.
Because we are going to win the game.
He just spit in my mouth while saying that. The most likely team to make the college football playoff is the team that is in Columbus. He said khakis are way too close to that team from up north. If you don't put black pants on right now, you're going to get booed out of Columbus. So I went with the black. Makes me look thin. And whenever I say 2 letters, the place goes crazy. O-H! Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie George. That offense, though, led by Justin Fields. He has 41 touchdowns accounted for, only 1 turnover. I don't know how he isn't the Heisman favorite right now.
Well, he certainly has a chance to make a stick at that today, certainly next week.
Was supposed to be in Penn State, they didn't line it. And Mike McQuarrie told me I wasn't Penn State material.
Okay, Herbie was your quarterback. He was a senior. You were a freshman.
Big
What was he
number
like
4.
as a teammate?
Oh, he was great, man. Big shoulder pads. Kurt could run for days back in the day. Back in the day.
We have a guy that can break every single bone in my body. Stipe, how you doing, boss man? They're down 6-1. She wants to flex on the gram. He says, lady, we are getting slaughtered by the Pittsburgh Penguins. No.
Do I do a chair? I thought I need to do this.
Ray J in the house, y'all.
Hey, what up, Ray J, dude?
Everyone needs a great pair of wireless earbuds, and you already know my boy Ray J. Earbuds start about half the price of any other wireless earbuds on the market. Oh, sorry. And that they sound just as amazing as other top audio brands you know. Their newest model, the Everyday E25 earbuds, are their best ones yet, with 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and more compact design that gives you a nice noise isolating fit. I'm going to call the action real quick. Get 15% off your order. BuyRaycon.com/Pat. That's BuyRaycon.com/Pat for 50% off Raycon's wireless earbuds. BuyRaycon.com/Pat.
All right, shout out to Raycon. BuyRaycon.com/Pat. Where's the Loma Brewing Company at?
That's a great question.
I just saw somebody mess with my desk. Hey, Euclid is my guy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Somebody took the Loma can off of my desk. I do not respect that at all. I do not appreciate that at all. Well, I think legit not happy with what's going on right now. I mean, granted, lack of awareness, not knowing that it wasn't there.
Well, you expect to see Loma Bruin sitting on your desk every day.
Unbelievable. I'm here for Uke, by the way.
Yeah.
I am here for old Kevin Uke. Danny Amendola will be joining us in 4.5 minutes to talk about all things happening in the NFL. I'm going to talk to him about this Seattle Seahawks rookie cornerback, undrafted, who tried to sneak a lady into the team hotel, by the way. That could have infected the entire team.
Yeah.
You ever think about how big of a move that is? What if Pete Carroll chewing his damn gun gets corona because this guy's trying to have sex with some lady sneaking into the hotel? I'll ask Danny Amendola about how quickly did the Lions tell this story this morning or text this story to everybody on the team about how this can't happen. How does he think? Does he think that there's a chance that they'll be able to manage that type of situation with the NFL players for an entire season? Do they talk about what are the potential downfalls if a COVID outbreak happens? Because in the MLB, they're delaying games, postponing games, shortening games, doubleheader games. The NFL, you can't do that. You only got, is it 17 games this year or only 16 this year?
I think it's 16.
16 this year, 17 the next year, 2021. You only got 16 opportunities to play. So if they suspend a couple games because so many people get sick, what are they going to do? Nobody knows. Danny Amendola will tell us about
Push it back even because they have those 4 weeks now after the Super Bowl with the hotels.
Which we had that source, and nobody else has reported it yet. I assume at some point it will be reported by one of these mainstream folks. But it is being reported that down in Tampa Bay, the NFL has the rights to the hotels for an extended 4 weeks after the Super Bowl. So are they thinking, oh, there's a chance we might have to suspend or delay some games? Are they thinking the beginning of the season might have to get pushed? Or are they worried about in the middle of the season? Or do they do this all the time and we just have never heard about it? All of those things could be true. But for this particular case, let's just say that they are planning ahead that some things might have to get delayed. And that could be completely wrong in a Zito-like situation.
Whoa.
Yeah, it could have been. Let's go to Matt over there in Oregon. What's going on, Matt?
Hey, Pat, how's it going, man?
Good, thanks.
Hey, I'm sure the Luma beard went missing. You probably should look at booze bag mitt there. You probably swooped it off your desk while you're all out of town.
Man, you booze bag.
Yeah, hey, so I used to work for Oregon State.
Is that the most obvious thing of all time, by the way?
Seriously.
Yeah,
All right, sorry.
You're welcome.
That's why we couldn't pick up the phones earlier.
So I'm worried about Pac-12's recruiting going forward now. It's kind of become like an embarrassment for the Power Five, just because the competition hasn't been there between all the other schools. So every year we just look at USC and Oregon. So I think obviously the Pac-12 is going to hurt with more recruiting down the road in the next couple of years. But this is really going to affect USC and Oregon. I mean, the two quote unquote powerhouses of the Pac-12 are going to have a very difficult time recruiting on towards the future, I think, with this Pac-12 stopping play.
Good call with that. We talked about that with the Big Ten yesterday. Like Ohio State, I assume they will always get good recruits, right? Let's just assume that Ohio State, a tradition, a cult, they will always get recruits. Oregon, same thing. I mean, they have the dial in with Nike, like the amount of I assume they'll always get recruits. But boy, if you're a recruit and Nick Saban walks into your house, now this is assuming that the SEC plays and that the ACC plays and the Big 12 plays and other conferences play, and he says, you're going to Ohio State, they don't even like football up there in the Big Ten. Do you remember when they just canceled their entire season? We played. It's different down here. We play football down here. We don't do anything else. That is going to be something that potentially sways a lot of people, and I do believe not only Oregon, that guy's Oregon fan, USC fans, Ohio State fans very much recognize that. This is potentially screwing their football team forever. But hey, safety first.
Yeah.
Hey, safety first, guys. Why do you even care about recruiting, bro? Why do you even care about it?
Well, the Pretzel said that recruits are going to stay closer to home, so USC might get more California kids, and the crop in California pretty good, right?
Well, from what they say.
From what they say?
I mean, who knows?
I don't buy that, though. Like, USC has been dead for like 10, 15 years.
Bingo.
They need to either hire a new coach, new staff, everything. Like, it just, guys who used to go to USC are going to Alabama and Ohio State and places like that now.
Well, Alabama is always going to have a head start in recruiting due to them being on national television, every single weekend?
Yep.
Every single, in Oregon plays at 2 a.m. every single time? And USC,
Yep.
they play that late night. Let's go to the NFL, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, man who's entering his 12th NFL season. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion. Woo. I saw him working out with a robot this offseason. Anything to get better. Detroit Lions, wide receiver, Danny Amendola. Attaboy, Danny.
What's up, Pat? How you doing, brother? Thanks for having me.
I'm great. How are you? Thanks for joining me. Are you locked down right now in your house? Is that kind of the...
wow, working on the game.
Are you good on that thing, or is it just hang out?
I'm in my little Detroit clubhouse right now. Yeah, just hanging out. Just got done with a little treatment, trying to get started with training camp. But, yeah, just hanging out. So we got the day off today. So
Did you watch Hard Knocks on Tuesday night?
I did not.
Well, okay, so I'll have to explain what they were doing to get into the building every day, and then you tell me if that's what it's like in your building. So every single day, walk in, they got the nose swab on the thing, and then you get your temperature checked and everything else, and then you're allowed in the building. And then when do you get the results back? Is that how it is in Detroit?
I think on a daily basis, it takes about 24 hours to get a test back. Yeah, it's exactly the same way for us. Walk in, get swabbed. Get your temperature taken, take a little survey, and then you're in the building. So it's a little bit more of a strict protocol getting in, trying to keep the building safe. But so far so good. We've had a few guys placed on COVID reserve for the first week in the building, but now we're all clean, we're all good to go, and trying to stay safe.
How are you guys going to police that? Because we all heard the Seattle Seahawks player yesterday tried to dress a girl up like a player and.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of crazy tricks, and Ferris Bueller putting your bed with pillows to make it seem like you're in the hotel. But never have I ever heard anybody dressing their girl up like a safety and trying to sneak her in the building.
Okay, so has there been conversations with the veterans on the team? I would assume that Matt Patricia would come to you and talk to you on a regular basis because your relationship and how deep it is and how he wanted to bring you in to kind of set a new tone or whatever. Has there been conversations about how you guys are going to be able to hold each other accountable throughout this entire season and kind of bubble up without being in a bubble?
Absolutely. It's on the individual. It's on the player if they want to, perform and get the opportunity to make a team and play on Sunday. Then they're going to have to stay clean and kind of keep COVID out of the building, so to speak. So, Coach Patricia's done a great job of kind of pulling us aside. We had the conversation of what we wanted to do. When we come home from a road game, a lot of variables on the road coming back home into our, do we get tested when we get home or do we go home and risk, seeing our families and bringing whatever we got on the road to our homes? So that's a real question. That's something that we're going to try to come up with a plan here soon. And, the battle against COVID and is just the same as, trying to beat another team. So that's how serious Coach Patricia's taken it in our building. And they've done the Lions have done a great job, man. The training staff, the equipment managers, everybody's taken, a specific role in keeping areas clean, keeping guys, distanced, and so far, honest to God, it's been good. It's been really good.
Have they told you if you test positive for COVID, how long the suspension is? Because if you don't treat COVID as if they're another team, they could potentially wipe out your team for 10 days? How long is the quarantine? Have they told you guys yet?
I think it's going to be around 10 days to 2 weeks. Given a series of tests, we've had a few false positive tests come through the league where they're trying to just like any other in any other city on the streets, they're trying to lock down these tests to make sure they're 100%. I know there's a couple different kinds, so the more testing, the better for us, and we do it every day.
Matt Stafford was one of those false positives, and his lady Kelly came out, who's a badass, by the way. His wife is
No question. Yeah, she's awesome, man.
She is, and a savage, by the way. She came out and told this entire story about how, since there was a false positive, the entire city basically was like, "Get away from us! Don't do us! Don't come to school! It's an entire life situation." What's that? What are we looking at?
Yeah, it's
Whoa! I thought you were showing me something over there. You show? No. Okay, all right. But the false positives, is that talked about in there, or is it kind of just like a? Yeah. By the way, I would run you on those. I would run you over there. Have they talked about the false positive, or is that something that? Because starting quarterback, stud quarterback, Matt Stafford, who has family and a wife who's potentially immunocompromised a little bit after battling. I mean, that's a massive ordeal there. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, right now it's a presumed negative instead of being a false positive. We try to change the lingo a little bit out. So basically, what that means is, if you get a negative test, we're not freaking out. We're just going to test you again the next day. You got to go home, quarantine for a couple hours, and as soon as we have the ability to test you again, that's when the test is going to come. So it's just a matter of hours getting the proper diagnosis, so to speak, on the test, and that's just a little speed bump that we ran into, getting guys in the building together collectively.
How's the team look? I mean, aside from all of the garbage about COVID, and I would say garbage because it's obviously very important, but training camp and football players are very routine. Like, hey, all right, you're going to eat at this time, you're going to take a nap at this time, you got walk through at this time, you got this. Now you got to deal with COVID and social distancing. How does the team feel? Is the team in high spirits? You guys feel like you're playing best football you've played in a long time?
Everybody's healthy. Everybody's feeling good, man. We've been running and lifting the past, week and a half. We've been, it's basically been, a week and a half long of OTAs, basically. Just kind of getting acclimated, getting our bodies in the building, getting, the running down, getting, some of the, some individual work in, lifting weights, getting everybody up to speed physically. Tomorrow we have our first practice. From my understanding, it's going to be full speed. So I'm excited, man. It's going to be our first football day will be tomorrow.
Oh, how many? Prater was on, and what was it? 8 games or something? 1 score or less for last year?
Yeah, I think it was 8.
8 games or 7 games, something. There was an absurd amount of games. It was 1 score or less that you guys ended up losing. How do you end up being on the winning side of that? Is it just one more year of experience? Is it just a veteran group? What do you think that whole thing is?
Man, I think it was 10 games we were leading in the fourth quarter where we had a chance to really win the game. And it just goes back to, playing smart, tough, fundamentally sound football, honestly, situational football there at the end of the game, closing the door and learning to kind of put away, the game, the situation at hand. So we got to just practice for it, man. We got to get better. We got to, we have a lot more new guys in the building. We have some old guys, so we have some experience, and then we're going to try to lead the younger guys along and try to get as many wins as possible. I know we got a good team. We got a lot of talent, and everybody's hungry to play football. So we're all excited to get rolling tomorrow and see where we stand. We got a lot to prove.
The whole conversation about the Lions is, and if you talk to any Lions fan, it's the same story. Okay, it's the same story from every Lions fan. It's, hey, this is our year. We got a lot of talent. Last year we could have won. We are trying to get Matt Patricia's guys in the building. Now we're in our 4th year of this thing, right? Is it 4th year, 5th year? How many years is this for Matt?
This will be his 3rd year.
So now we're in the 3rd year. A lot of guys in there. We talked to him down at the Super Bowl. It felt as if he was almost like feeling as if that building is potentially turning in a fashion that you need. And this isn't normal in the NFL to be patient. The NFL is not a patient place. The Bills, they're doing it with McDermott. There's a little bit of that. They're starting to come around. The patience with Matt Patricia. What have you seen since your time you've got there versus now versus how the building operates?
Well, I mean, the reason why I signed with, this organization and a leader like Matt Patricia is, I knew what to expect when I walked in. And, the signs on the door and he kind of sets the tone, as you walk in the building. And I mean, the NFL it's a tough league to win. Obviously, there's a lot of variables and there's, 32 great football teams with a lot of great athletes. And, we were close on a lot of them last year, but I think with what Coach offers and his energy that we walk in the building every day will give us a chance to win a lot of games this year.
That was one of the most cliche answers I've ever heard in my life, which means, by the way, that it seems to be working. The Patriot way is making its way.
It is. All business.
It just seems. Let's talk about the Patriots a little bit. Joe Montana, because you had a great run there. Obviously, 2 Super Bowls there. You're a massive part of that thing. Good friends with Jules and Tom and everybody. Joe Montana just came out and said that Tom told him down at the Super Bowl that he wanted his opinion to be respected more in the building, and that is basically why he wanted to get out of there. Do you think that maybe that is the case? I mean, who knows? Nobody knows a private conversation. I would assume Tom isn't thrilled that their private conversation is now a part of now a part of an interview. But do you think Tom is excited to potentially have a little bit more say in the things that are running down there in Tampa with your relationship with him?
Well, I know he's excited, man. I got the opportunity to spend a couple of days with him in the summertime before we get back to camp. But, he's amped up. He feels like he's in a great situation. Obviously, he's I mean, if you haven't followed him on his IG or whatever, he's in great shape. He's 42, 43. I don't even know how old he is now, but he's in amazing shape, probably the shape of his life, obviously. So, he's got his boy Gronk with him. They have a good skill group out there. I know he's amped up and ready to go. I think, regardless of what he and Mr. Montana talked about, I know Tom Brady's ready to go.
Do you think Gronk coming back is now? Madden gave him a 95 rating, and people were not happy. People were not happy about Gronk getting a 95 rating. But when he's on the field, it's just a different world. Darius Butler says it changes the math. Do you think with Gronk almost resting a couple years, he's almost going to be better than he was beforehand?
No question. There were times in New England, I remember Gronk coming in. I mean, he's like, he has his back fused together. He has rods in his elbow, and he has multiple knee surgeries. He's had probably 3 or 4 like really, really life-changing concussions. And this guy is, one of the toughest football players, one of the toughest guys I've ever been around, just in terms of how he throws his body around. And he put himself through a lot of football trauma, so to speak, in New England. And the year off, I can tell, has given him juice, has rejuvenated him. He's mentally, he wants to go get it. Physically, he's able to. And that 95 rating, he's a beast. We'll see it.
Do you do the TB12 treatment?
When Tom made me, yeah.
How's the avocado ice cream? I've heard about it. I've heard these whispers. How is it?
He will never trick me into eating avocado ice cream.
Your family would kill you. Family would be so upset. But that TB12 thing seems like it's really working for Tom. I always wondered if his teammates and friends, he was like, hey, why don't you give this a go here, see if it could happen, and you just didn't stick with it. Oh, that's a shame.
The good part about Tom is, he's like a big brother, but he's the best teammate. He does have the TB12 method and facility next to, Gillette when we were there. And then obviously he's going to transfer that down to Tampa, and he will allow guys, receivers, tight ends, skill position guys that he thinks, even, whoever really on the team that could use his method, his pliability work, and he has an open door to all his teammates. He encourages all his teammates to go get some of the same treatment that he gets himself too. So, that's just a testament to what kind of teammate he is.
What was that robotic thing you were using this offseason? That thing looked insane. Are you
the Monarch Seeker made quarantining actually fun. This thing is an amazing contraption. Basically, a jugs gun strapped up to some software. You could run routes with it. You can kick punts, not as good as yours, but
thank you, appreciate that.
It could hit them like probably 60-yard punts, 70-yard punts, pretty high. But I remember back in the day when you would switch, you would fake us. I'd be returning Pat McAfee's punts, and he'd be faced like he's hitting it left, and then he'd switch it to go right, and then I'd go right, and then he'd go back left, and I'm like, Pat, like, what the fuck, man? Meanwhile, he's just chuckling, knowing that he's making me run 20 extra yards for nothing is making his day worthwhile. I loved it.
Dude, I love it because every once in a while you have like a linebacker that's up in the thing, and his job was to point to which direction I am punting. And it was so I would walk out there, and as soon as I would get there, I see this linebacker just staring at me. I'm like, oh, there's the guy that's supposed to say it. And I would just walk onto the field, and I just wouldn't even open my hips, and you see this linebacker, he's going this way. And then literally, like, as soon as I see him turn around to do that, I stand up facing this way, and he's like, this way. He's going this way. And then as soon as I see that, I'm like, oh, we'll go back the other direction. And most of the time, obviously, that was a little for me, it was a good time. Like I was enjoying it a lot. But
The games within the games.
Exactly. But I did not want to have you touch the ball because you were a fearless dude. And the biggest thing, a lot of people think that there's a lot of things that you can measure to be a great punt returner or a returner or whatever. And I don't think you can. Like, I don't think you can measure if somebody's going to be a good punt returner or not. Obviously, they have to be able to catch the ball. But you were just a fearless son of a bitch. And I hated everything about it. I mean, I absolutely hated it. I'm like, if this guy gets the ball, he's going to sprint forward no matter what. It's going to ruin all of our numbers. We got to keep it out of his damn hands. Are you still returning balls or are you too old now?
Yeah. I'm trying to let them make me. I returned a few last year, but I get an extreme rush from it. And actually, a fearless son of a bitch is the ultimate compliment. Thank you very much.
Yeah. It really is. You're a nightmare. I think I kicked what was it when you were at St. Louis? I kicked the kickoff like 9 yards deep. Okay. Maybe the biggest ball I hit all year because the kickoff was at the 30 at that time. So it was 5 yards behind. I kicked the thing to 9 yards deep, and there wasn't even a thought of taking a knee for that thing. Straight out the gate. I'm like, this little white dude back here is a nightmare. Can this guy quit? That was what got you in the league, though. You're being an incredible returner was what kind of made you, and then obviously you go into the wide receiver corps at New England and then kind of take over the whole thing.
Yeah, got my first opportunity on special teams, just like a lot of undrafted free agent guys coming into the league. Got to return some punts and some kicks out in St. Louis and kind of get my foot in the door that way. So
you're so good.
A lot of fun.
You were so good. Julian Edelman, also underrated returner, but Tyreek Hill is next. Hey, Tyreek Hill is dude. Shane Leckler told me, I've told the story a couple of times, but it's worth noting again. Shane Leckler came up to me before the game we played in Houston. He said, "You played Chiefs yet?" I said, "No." He said, "As soon as you do, as soon as you take the snap, just turn sideways and punt that thing over your coach's head into the stands because Tyreek Hill will just take that thing out of there." Danny, have an incredible season, man. Good luck up there. I appreciate you joining us.
Thanks, Pat. Always a pleasure talking to you, bro. Talk to you soon, man.
What do you got all day? Off day? What are you going to do? Just hang out? You can't leave your house. You got to lock that thing down.
I'm gonna practice for our next game, bro.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart. Yeah, I would probably. That's a good idea, Danny. Ladies and gentlemen, two-time Super Bowl champ and stud, Danny Amendola. Let's go, Danny. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate you, man. He's a good guy.
Beast. Good guy.
Hey, he was an ass at returner, though. It was not fun. But watching a return, they eventually started putting two returners back every single time, which, by the way, eliminates somebody from the rush, which is just, next level thinking. But boy, I had so much fun. They actually made a rule against it. So they made a rule against it. I couldn't move. So, and I don't know if it was 100% me, but I used to literally just do this, and then I would do this, and then I would do this, and I was like, why has nobody done this in the past? Like, you're just watching the returner sprint back and forth on the field, right? It was like, this guy's going to be dead by the time I punt the ball. And then as soon as I moved, by the way, they made the rule that as soon as I moved or anybody moved, they could line up directly over the snapper because I changed the formation. So now somebody could do it. And I was like, wait, this seems like this is directly at me. So then I had to start learning how to punt opposite directions while facing this way because no return is much better than any chance of a return because those returners back there are assholes. All right.
How is that any different than like disguise and coverage, though?
That's defense side of the ball.
And, I know, but I'm just saying in general, like
offense side of the ball, you can't change. As soon as you change formation on a punt team, they go like you'll see the refs go like this, and that means that they can cover up your center, which means they can just debo him right into your chest if they want to, because they made a lot of rules to protect the snapper. Had to be at least off the shoulders. Yeah. Can't touch him while his head is down. And then as soon as I started doing that, they were like, "Oh, well, that's a change of the formation." It was probably Walt Anderson, if I had to guess.
Quarterbacks can move. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but you can line up over the center there.
Oh, yeah. Fair.
In special teams, if anybody moves. That's why if you ever see a PP, the personal protector, the person giving the cadence, as soon as they set their feet, that is the formation. So you'll see some PPs, personal protectors, go out, and they'll just walk back and forth like this until they know which side they have to be on. And then as soon as they stop, that's the formation. And then if they are to move again, you'll see the refs go like this, and that means your center can just get absolutely deboed. So it's a big deal, and I think it's potentially my fault. Change kickoff rules, change punt rules, no big deal.
No big deal.
Onside rule in college, too.
Of the decade.
Just what I do, man. Also, can't dive in that canal anymore, allegedly. 48 minutes after the hour, this is the Pat McAfee Show. We're back.
15 seconds before I hit the anvil. I've been trying to time myself out for 15 seconds. I've never spoken for 15 seconds before. There's no chance. It's a new era for college football. All right, let's go. You're all badasses. Thank you all for your service. Have an incredible day out there. It's the safest place in America right now. Holy hell. All right, everybody smile. You're probably not supposed to. Hey, safe travels. We appreciate the hell out of all of you. Go kick ass. Hooah! Hey, the best game in the history of the drumline is going to be today. You guys are going to steal the show and set it back. How's it going? My name's Pat. I swing a big hammer, and when I talk, people listen. A long fucking day. So I had to switch it to damn. When I get going like that, it really catches. Hey, big cold swing today, huh? Another week about to start, Foxy. Triple H texted me, said he enjoyed it. Nice. He said if anybody's making fun of you for the size of your hammer, just tell them it's not the size, it's how you swing it.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Tiger Woods has just committed to playing next week's Northern Trust at TPC Boston. This begins an incredibly busy stretch for Tiger, says TW Spot on Instagram. I have no idea who that is or if it's verified, but Tiger golfing is good. Doesn't matter, Tiger. I love Tiger, okay? I love Tiger. Love the Tiger.
Huge fan.
Huge fan of the Tiger, okay? The way he's bounced back. Anytime you see the red shirt going on Sunday, it's must-see television. But Morikawa is currently what we like to call en fuego on the golf course. And that kid, I don't even think he has a clue what he's about to do to golf. Or maybe he does. Maybe that's why he is the way he is. Great interview with him from what? Last week? Earlier this week.
Earlier this week.
Boy, it has felt like it has been about 2 months here. You know what I mean?
I thought yesterday was Monday.
It's not.
Me and Fox were talking about it.
I woke up this morning, found out it was Friday. Me too.
Yeah. It's like, oh.
By the way,
cool.
It's Friday already. Hey, good for us. Look what we got going on. And by the way, fight week all next week. We will be down in Orlando.
Fight week, baby. Yeah.
8 days away from my WWE debut. I would love it if you went to war with me against the wrestling community and Adam Cole. It's going to be a big week for us next week. We got massive guests. We got a lot of things ending on Saturday night. NXT TakeOver 30, SummerSlam weekend. Me and Adam Cole are going to battle. And I am walking out undefeated in a wrestling ring. Thanks to all the guests. Thanks to everybody that listened and watched all week. We can't thank you enough. You're the absolute greatest humans on earth. No idea why you listen, but thankful you do. This has been the Pat McAfee Show from Indianapolis, Indiana! Not a bad little yell there for us. That was a pretty good yell.
Pretty good. That was a good one.
Let's take some phone calls here to wrap up this entire thing. Let's go to Noah over there in Arizona. What's going on, Noah?
How's it going, Pat? Thank you for letting me be a caller on the show. Watch the show every day. Love it.
Hey, don't thank me. Hey, don't thank me. Thank Mitt for finally answering the phones there.
You figured it out.
Boy, Mitt. Way to go, Mitt.
Good job, Mitt.
Proud of you, man.
Pick it up.
I watched. Hey, hold on, Noah. No, Arizona. Hold on. I watched Paul Feinbaum's show yesterday a little bit.
Oh,
it's on the SEC network. I've never watched it before. He just sits back and takes callers, you know. There's a guy named Jack from Austin who went on a run about the COVID numbers and football and everything like that. Very, very, very interesting show Feinbaum runs.
So strictly callers. He only picks up the phones.
I watched for, I think it was 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, maybe the longest I've watched
be the only
anything.
one.
No, I think Feinbaum's show is electric. Those callers were wide open, and he was like, well, all right, thank you. Let's go to, and he was just going. He's like he's almost like Mike Greenberg with juggling the callers.
Yeah.
Like, all right, this one comes in, and every once in a while he'll put in like his thoughts or whatever, and then if he doesn't want to answer one, he's like, okay, let's go to the next one here. Let's go. It was 45 minutes straight of callers, and I'll tell you what, I feel like Noah in Arizona is going to be one of those types of callers. I think Noah in Arizona is going to be next level.
Come on, Noah.
Let's go, Noah.
Come on, Noah.
So with what's going on with the NCAA, college football, and the pro football, and the NFL and everything, do you think these people should be, in the higher-ups, should be more worried about HIPAA violations and things, getting to know, oh, you've got this virus, you've got this disease, and that they should be able to, and I'm going to be word this very as carefully as I can, with what's going on with, what the president's saying to use and everything like that, they should be able to have that, only to themselves and their teams, because with what's going on, the kid from Clemson that's looking to be the number one draft, if he chooses something, it could be a possible career suicide for him. Like James Harden at the moment, when people were just blowing up that he could have worn a Blue Lives Matter mask, and if that makes sense.
Thank you for your call, Noah. Thanks for clarifying that was Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure. That kid from Clemson could have been anybody.
Yeah, well, first overall pick, I believe, is what they said. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess ETN potentially just go ahead and said, hey, see you later, Trevor. I appreciate you looking out for me like that. But I think his original point was the HIPAA violations, which has become very interesting because I think Zeke came out and talked about this when the Cowboys were releasing who had it, and now there's a COVID-19 list for every team. How come these players, how come they don't get treated with the same respect and decency as every other human in the medical field? How come these college athletes are getting outed if they have COVID? How come these players are getting outed if they have COVID? Sure, it's potentially to save their families and everybody else that's around them. And if they just go missing in the middle of a pandemic, people are probably going to assume that they have COVID. But what about the HIPAA law? That is a real thing. What if some of these, like for instance, Matt Stafford's life was ruined. His wife said that their life was basically ruined in Detroit because of a false positive presumed negative that came out, but a false positive that came out about them that wasn't true. He said that they were judged. His wife came out and said they were judged. They weren't allowed in places. Like the kids were potentially getting kicked out of the school. There was an entire thing. What about the HIPAA violations? Zeke brought it up, mentioned it a couple weeks ago, but now that it's coming out even more, I do wonder about that. But it's the same thing. Whenever you play sports and do that, you're somebody that's kind of in the fishbowl and everybody has eyes on you. People are probably going to find out about you more than the average person.
Well, that's the thing about these students
about leaks, right? I mean, because that's it's not like the team's coming out and saying, it's like someone from the team tells Rappaport or something that like, hey, so-and-so had COVID.
Hey, can't win with it. Listen, hey, you, assistant coach, do you know what the HIPAA law is? No. That's what the football guy would say. Well, you can't fucking do what you just did there to Rappaport or Schefter or whoever you just leaked it to. Jason Pierre-Paul, whenever the fireworks thing, when his hand came out, that was a big deal. I think Schefter almost got sued.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there was almost a big ordeal with that whole thing. Now, granted, it would have came out eventually, obviously, when he shows up with
hey, what happened to your hand?
The thing.
The claw.
By the way, he was able to still continue to play pretty well.
Oh, yeah. He's still doing it.
Still rocking.
Turn me again. Really?
Yeah.
Good for him. Turn me against fireworks for 2 weeks. I think 3 weeks.
Yeah. That was about it. Yeah.
Setting them off or holding on to them while they're still lit?
I'll tell you what, I have rolled the dice on too many occasions with those fireworks. And I don't know why. None of it makes sense. Like while doing it, it isn't until after you light the thing that you're like, what the fuck? Why am I doing this? And then like, well, now that I'm doing it though, I have to wait until it's going to look cool. There was this thing that I got into because in Pennsylvania, you can't buy fireworks. So growing up, couldn't buy fireworks in Pennsylvania. So people had to, I don't know if it's the hills. There are a lot of hills though, and maybe I did not take that into account. Maybe it is because of the hills. If you had somebody on your street that would drive to Ohio and then they would come back with the fireworks, it was like one of the coolest things ever. So when I got to Indiana and you just drive around, and even if it's not around 4th of July, there's like fireworks store. I walked in there and I was like, give me just the big ones, everything you got. You start lighting them off, and then neighbors will come over and they're like, hey, it's October right now. Like maybe you don't do it. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like I'm just enjoying myself. And then they always have an idea. They're like, oh, have you ever thrown one of these into a pond or anything like that?
Yeah.
I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, let me show you. And the person in Indiana who's been able to do this their entire life, who potentially is a little bit of a pyro, goes in there, grabs it, lights it, throws it into a pond, then it blows up over top of the pond. And you're like, well, fuck, I got to do that. So then I take it, I go into the pond. And while you're holding it, you're like, well, I'm holding a bomb in my hand right now, but I got to wait until it's about half done because if you throw it in the pond too early, it doesn't work. And then you do it, and it's like, well, it's going to be hard not to do that again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I do believe there is more than a dozen times where I could have had that happen to me, so I didn't judge JPP. But boy, the world turned on him very quickly whenever that whole thing came out, and I was like, take it fucking easy.
Fireworks are awesome.
Yeah, I'm not into them as much anymore, but I did have like a 4 or 5 year run there where I was just buying out fireworks stores, and I would only do it on like July 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Except for my wedding, I had to.
That was awesome. Which also
Great
was
show.
2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th for that wedding show
of August. Yeah,
fireworks.
the biggest fucking fireworks display I've ever seen in my life.
Longest.
Every time it was about to end, they start clapping, and they just set like 3 more up.
Bro, I think they heard us like thinking it was over, and they're like, "Oh, just wait for this fucking Joe Montana pump fake we got here." They had a Rich Gannon pump fake after the 3rd grand finale. I mean, there was 3, 4 grand finales in the middle of this thing,
amazing.
and I was very thankful for it. Obviously, my lady and I love the fireworks, but boy, it was a long one. That neighborhood did not enjoy it.
No, they didn't.
By the way, it had to sound like for those billionaires and all their dogs that live up there, just. What, did fucking Vietnam just take place?
What the fuck is going on over there?
There was some of the loudest fireworks I've ever.
They're very loud.
There was a couple bombs in there that I was like, damn, all right. Oh, by the way, I got the price for that 2 days ago. I had to pay for the whole thing.
Tough to swallow.
Well, we were told originally that it was 15, 20 minutes. We did pay for that entire show. Let's go to Colin in Minnesota. What's going on, Colin?
And what's going on? I got 2 things.
Hold on 1 second, please. Mitt, you're the one that punched in these names and stuff like that? Yeah. Okay. Can you get a microphone near Mitt? Mitt, can you come up near the microphone real quick?
I can't wait.
Colin, please don't ruin this. Mitt, please spell Minnesota.
MINSOTA.
Nailed it. Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Way to go, Mitt. Attaboy, Mitt. Proud of you, man.
Is that right?
MINISOTA over here on this thing. Mini soda. I don't need a large one. I just need a little mini soda.
It's a little soda.
Not bad. Not bad there, Mitt. I'm proud of you, man.
Rocks for
Foxy's
brains.
the same fucking way, though, by the way.
No.
Yeah,
That makes me look. When I Google things, you ask me to Google something, I just type it in as fast as possible because that's the editor in me. Because you got to get things done quick, and so then Google will just automatically fix it for you. I know how to spell.
He was looking at photos of the hottest golfer in the world right now.
Yeah,
and I was standing near him while he was doing it. He spelled COILN. Okay, and then Kawa was KAWWA, and then an R in there and an M to end it. And to Google's credit, to fucking Google's credit, somehow they deciphered that.
Google apparently knows a lot of editors.
A lot of idiots. Yeah, they got them.
I love misspelling words.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Colin in Minnesota, what do you want to talk about, brother?
All right. 2 things, man. First, Adam Cole is about to get bent like a street sign in an ESPN.
Hell yeah!
And now that Everson Griffin has signed with the Cowboys, will the Vikings pick up someone like Jadeveon Clowney?
No.
Okay, great question there, Colin. Jadeveon Clowney still being on the market right now is wild. right? And a lot of people are saying it's because of his own decisions. He didn't want to take the deals, and he had done this in the past where he either held out or missed, and he missed all training camp, and he signed with the team, and he did pretty good. And I was watching that Hard Knocks, by the way, and I was watching what all the bullshit they were going through, and I thought back to like the feeling that you have when you walk into training camp the first day. There's like this like unsettling, unease feeling that you have because you got to go through all these meetings. Now there's all this other shit, and you got to get your blood. Like there's an entire feeling that I got while watching Hard Knocks, like, oh, that's the first day of training camp right there, like when you're checking in. And then I thought back to myself, if I was a veteran player and I was a free agent, there ain't no fucking way in hell, unless they're paying me all the money I am signing before training, at least that first week. Because the first week, nobody has a clue what's going to happen. Nobody knows who's going to make the team. There's some, but nobody knows the entire thing. The coaches are still trying to figure it out. You got all this bullshit meetings you got to sit through and all that stuff. And I had that feeling. And I think what everybody has said is that Jadeveon Clowney's doing that. Jadeveon Clowney's potentially just waiting it out and seeing how it goes. I forget which insider. There is an insider in the NFL that has now become like a I think it's Pelissaro posting workouts of older players that are potentially free agents right now. He's just tweeting about them. I love that move. And if I'm those players, if I'm a vet, I am sitting around waiting until this training camp is over, and then I'm just going to go into a facility. If I'm good enough to do that, obviously. There's a lot of things that have to fall into place. But Jadeveon Clowney still being on the market is a weird situation.
A.Q. Shipley, too.
He was training A.Q. Shipley as well. How about that fucking guy?
Patriots need a center bad, too. Just had their rookie that they drafted. He just retired, walked away from the game. Patriots need A.Q. Shipley.
Hey, A.Q., by the way, and Bill would be a duo and Josh that we would need to hear about at least, because you would never get to see it because, like Sensei Steven Seagal, I don't think there's a lot of cameras just falling around Bill Belichick.
No.
Were you going to say something there?
Yeah, do you think some of these guys are waiting around just because they know that they're probably going to have their pick of the litter if a bunch of guys test positive for COVID?
Yeah, like for instance, I right now could pass every test that the NFL could potentially have. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
If a kicker and punter go down for a team for 2 weeks in the middle of the season and we're just chilling, I mean, what do we do then? I could pass every single test right now. Right now, I could pass every single test if I wanted to.
You said best shape of your life.
Best shape of my life right now. I thought about the other day going out in the backyard just to see how fucking far I could hit a ball after these Stairmaster. I've logged probably 10,000 miles under Stairmaster. I didn't do that whenever I was playing. I mean, I kind of wish I would have now at this point. I saw a bag of balls, and I was like, I should go in the back just see how much I could fucking murder one of these balls right now. And I was like, nope, don't even do it. Don't even do it. Don't even do it. And then yesterday, you guys saw Throwback Thursday, I was looking through videos of me kicking field goals, and I was like, I wasn't even in shape then. I mean, I hadn't even done anything for 3 years at that point. Look at that fucking slaughtered ball. Now I'm in the best shape of my life. What could happen? But getting back in that NFL life, especially with this COVID thing, and I would have to bubble down, I don't know if that is a place that I would potentially want to be right now. And our deal with
almost there. We got
them right there.
Yeah,
is so amazing. I don't know if I get back in the game. I would assume that you can't just be a business partner with a gambling sports book.
Probably
I'm not 100% sure, but maybe with The Rock. You know, maybe the XFL. I don't.
That's a thought.
Maybe with the.
You got to fight to focus on.
Can you smell?
I think I'm gonna try to play quarterback in the XFL.
Oh,
It's a good idea.
Can you imagine if I'm fucking signal calling for some XFL team? Haven't even got to kick field goals yet, which is a position I really want to play in the NFL. Now I'm fucking starting quarterback for the fucking DC. There was a couple places I think I could have started last year in the XFL.
Yeah.
In that spring football league, or what was it, the AAFL?
AAFL, yeah.
There was like 6 teams.
You could have
there.
started everywhere.
I feel like I could have started there. Now, granted, my lack of knowledge of breaking down defenses could hinder me a little bit, but every quarterback in the XFL and the AAFL, I don't think could do that anyway.
Arm, baby. You got arm talent. It doesn't matter.
Athlete in there.
What the fuck's a nickel defense? Oh, they remove a linebacker and put a corner in. That's it? That's what y'all motherfuckers been talking about for all this time? I do not give a damn. Henry down in Texas, what's going on, bub?
Hey, Pat, how are you doing? Thank you for having me on the show.
Like your energy, Henry. Like your energy.
Hey, I want to go back to draft night, and hopefully maybe Mad Mel might come out for this one.
Okay.
But my question, is it y'all's fault Green Bay traded up so Aaron Rodgers would not have the chance to have a live reaction to them trading up and drafting Jordan Love?
Well, Well, if he would have a reaction for them trading up to draft Jordan Love, is it our fault because they wanted to trade up and draft for Jordan? I like where your head's at, but I don't think it ties together, Henry. Let's go to Chris in Miami. This is the guy that's terrible with UFC locks.
Brutal,
This guy, I remember, he gave us, what, a minus 800 the last time. Like, here's the lock of the night.
This guy, blah, 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 blah. You guys done? You guys fucking done or what?
Yeah, Chris, let's hear it. Let's talk about the big weekend that we have here. We will keep track of how you do, Chris. This is big for the show.
Let's do it. All right, and first of all, I would never fucking give you guys a minus 800. That was some other stooge who came in. I'd like to give you guys a lock. Amanda Hebus minus 800. It's not me. It's not the kind of guy I am. I'm giving you guys some dicey picks. That's why they don't ever fucking hit.
Dice.
You ready?
Okay, so you're just shooting in the wind. You just said you never fucking hit. I mean, what are we having you on the show for then?
Hey, look, I hit one, and it was a square pick. I mean, what do you guys want? What do you want?
We want some
We want
winners.
some fucking winners, Chris, if you're going to give UFC locks.
We're going 4-0 to the moon, UFC 252, starting with Merab Dvalishvili by decision.
That's our guy.
Guys, wrestling is top notch, and there's no way that Dodson's going to be able to stuff that many takedowns. You get stuff 1, 2, 3, but Dvalishvili is just going to keep on coming.
Not 4.
What's his last name?
Dvalishvili.
Okay, thank you. What else do we got?
Then we got Jairzinho Rosenstrike against Junior Dos Santos.
That's awesome.
Jairzinho's minus 132 on the money line. That's a safe bet. But if you're feeling a little bit dicier, go by knockout minus 115.
Oh, Jairzinho. Okay, Jairzinho and Merab. All right. What do we got for the third one?
The next one is the Sugar Show coming back against Marlon Cheeto Vera. On the money line, Sugar Show's minus 300. I'm not hitting that. But I think Sugar Show is going to knock out Cheeto for the first time. Cheeto Vera's never been finished in in all of his fights. He's never been finished, period. I like Sugar Show by knockout plus 140.
Okay, I like that because dude's got heavy hands.
Oh, yeah.
We saw him displace people's jaws before at the beginning of this quarantine. Now his dreads, or his hair's even bigger than it was. He's in cornrows, I believe. Okay, so you got Sugar Show, Jairzinho, Merab. Who else?
Yeah, and I think, honestly, when he slept him, I think he heard me on this show because I thought he was going to go to decision, and he slept that boy and put him in the nether region.
Yeah, but what we learned about you is whenever you think something normally doesn't fucking happen, Chris. That's what we've learned. I mean, unbelievable out here, Chris.
It's all right. Hey, when I go 4-0, we can talk it out. It's okay.
Okay, good.
Listen, last fight, Big Bayou DC coming out of Louisiana. I like him on the money line minus 116. For the same reason I like Merab, I think he's just going to control Stipe in that small cage, whether it's up against the cage, whether it's on the ground. It's just wrestling, going to put on a wrestling clinic, a U.S. wrestling clinic.
Hey, if it means anything, Chris, I'm going to use everything you just said on my IG Live with Dana White and take it as my own. I just want to let you know that.
I would be honored if Dana White could hear, if my president could hear what I have to say. I would be honored, Pat. Please do.
He won't know it's from you, though. It's going to be very...
I don't give a shit. Hey, I don't give a shit. It's going to be from my mouth to God's ears. I'm good.
Okay, perfect. Because I would say, Merab, big-time wrestler, especially in that smaller cage. It helps him just like it helps DC, that smaller cage, Dana. You agree. You have to agree. Plus, it's his retirement.
Dude, hey, look, I'll be in the comments hyping you up, hitting the little fucking hearts and shit. I'm watching. I'm pumped. What time's it at?
I don't... great question. Great. I think
got to find out.
I think 5, maybe 4. 5 or 4. I forget what it is because they gave me their time.
Oh, yeah.
So it was I didn't figure out the math. You know what I mean?
I'm jet-lagged thinking about it.
Yeah, well, they're about
Plus
3 hours behind us or something like that.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm going to turn on the notifications. Everyone else should, too. You got to tune in when Uncle Dana goes live with Pat.
Hey, so why does Dana and Ariel hate each other?
Because Ariel's a fucking stooge.
Jeez.
I mean, he does like
Bingo.
Adam Cole.
Yeah, agreed, Chris. I appreciate it.
I mean, you heard him come in. Oh, fucking Adam Cole's going to drop you. You have no chance. Dude, Adam Cole's like 130 pounds.
Yes.
He ain't doing anything against my dog, Pat. You're tripping.
It's true.
Hey, bingo, Chris. I'll tell you what, I like. Hey.
I like Chris.
I don't like what Chris has done to my fucking picks. I have picked alongside him because he does sound smart when he says these things. And then he kind of, little smoke and mirrors to everybody in the comment section. And he had a rough weekend for the first time he called in. I think he went 0-7 or something.
Yeah, something. And he did give like 3 picks that were minus 500. So.
But hey, hold on. Here we go. We got Merab, Jairzinho, Sugar Show, and DC.
All in.
I think on the dating thing, I'm there for 5-10 minutes, they said.
Let's go.
Do I have time to sneak in Ariel Helwani slander?
Yes.
Yeah. Much like you, Dana, I hate Ariel.
Right off the bat. Right off the bat.
What did Ariel say? You don't punch down? So maybe you just
Oh,
take his own advice.
Yeah, you're right.
I would mention Ariel.
By the way,
but-
fucking Bob Fox
Did
is out
not
there.
deserve that. The
I
ricochet
love,
shot.
Hey,
We
I would
love
like to let
Bob
everybody
Fox.
know I love Bob Fox. Like, actually, Robbie Fox and I, we traveled together. We've worked together. I love Bob Fox. In his interview with Dana White, every time he does it, are always good. And he's out there for this fight.
Yeah.
Ariel, what? He's locked in his little box over there?
Mhm.
That's what he said? That has to be tough, Ariel. That is tough. All right, it's time to go to the fucking weekend, isn't it? I think so. I think it is. Carn the Pies, William Jackson just said in the comment section, let's go Magpies, calling with Magpies.
Oh, yeah. Let's go Pies, baby.
How we doing?
Pretty good. You guys won. You guys won yesterday.
Got a lot of Australian people tweeting me about how there has been no talk about the AFL lately. It's
I
like,
love the AFL.
yeah, hey, so do I.
Yeah,
So
we
do I.
still watch. We
Just-
just a lot of other stuff to talk about.
I don't know if we still watch. That's been
No.
the problem is
Yeah.
I haven't been able to watch.
When do the playoffs start?
Do they have playoffs?
When does the ladder playoff thing
They're
start?
right now in that. The finals begin, I believe, towards the end of August because they're right
Now,
in the middle of
the
that.
finals are the playoffs, and then the grand final
finals
is the
yes.
Super Bowl.
Exactly. Yeah.
Check back in around then.
Yeah. They're in the finals.
All right. From myself, Connor, had a great show today, man.
You had a great show.
Nah, today not. Today depends. Kind of hit or miss sometimes.
I mean, that
there's
back and
really
forth.
nothing for us to talk about.
Yeah, well, but NBA's going into the playoffs. We're about to turn a corner here.
Oh, Damian Lillard. Have we talked about Damian
Oh,
Lillard?
yeah, Damian Lillard. Yeah, Damian Lillard.
Damian Lillard has scored 154 points over his last 3 games. 51, 61, and then 42 last night to lock them into a play-in game against the Grizzlies tomorrow at 2:30. And what Damian Lillard has done after missing those 2 free throws to lose a game and then getting into it with Patrick Beverly and then Paul George, what he has done on the other side of this is absolutely incredible. He's questioned other people's morals for leaving on their team and everything like that, and he's come out into play like an absolute dog. Last year in the playoffs, he had this type of run wherever he was heating up from half court. Damian Lillard has put all of Portland on his back, though. They got a big game tomorrow, and I'll tell you what, I'm a big fan of old Dollar Dang.
Yeah.
And he is, by the way, he said he also finished an album. He also has finished a quarantine album or a bubble album. So, I mean, this guy's on top of the world. And when you're pulling up from 35 feet very confidently, no reason to at all, that has to feel good. But remember, when we talked to Terrence Ross, who I hope everything's okay, by the way, you had to go get out, lead the buttle, go to test or something. He said, whenever that court looks small, he said people are going to feel as if they can pull up from anywhere. He said that. Devin Booker has already showcased that. Now Dame is already showing that. People are showing that on a regular basis. The playoffs for the NBA should be a very good time, and they got playing games as if it's the NCAA tomorrow starting, and I am all the way here for it. John Morant, one of the most electrifying players that I didn't know about, and Dame taking each other on. Let's go. Let's have a Saturday.
Here we go.
Here we go.
NBA's back.
Hey, here we go.
Let's go, dude.
Let's
Have a Saturday.
go. 17 minutes after noon here on Eastern Daylight Time. We can't thank you enough for fucking with us. Next week is a big week for us. We hope you follow along. If you enjoyed the show, please tell a friend to subscribe. If you didn't, just act like this didn't fucking happen. From myself, Mr. Mansuri, Nick, Connor, Ty, Jason, Zito, Evan Fox, Minnesota, Mitt, Billy, Tim, Jay, everybody from our office to all of you. I hope you have the greatest weekend of your life with all things considered. You're the greatest humans on earth. You could allow a lot of other things to penetrate your eye holes and ear holes. The fact you let us do it, we are forever grateful. Cheers. Have a good weekend. This has been the show, Friday, August 14th, 2020. Cheers.